Hello, chat, and hello, panel.
Hi, chat.
Hello.
I think Darnell was dancing.
Hi.
We lost somebody. Who went away with
Eraserhead. He erased himself.
I mean, that's appropriate, isn't it?
All right, I'm not letting this happen again. Tell me I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this is Evie Mux understands that Eraser has a hatred of it, and so therefore it hates him back. Like, that's how it goes. I'm quite convinced.
It'll be fine. It'll work itself out.
This has become like your motto. It'll be fine.
I mean, I'm still here, right?
Yeah, but it's your motto for everything now.
It's all good.
All right, we actually have a full panel tonight, which for I think the first time
I think so.
this show so far? Yeah, excellent. So, welcome to everyone. We've Darnell, Cinevere, Kilowatt, Antiderivative Jill, Jacob, and Eraserhead. Everyone gets to plug their stuff after the fact, except Eraser, who will just go, I don't do anything else. So, welcome to the chat. I see Legata, I see Hanayama, who almost never turns in for these things. So, welcome. I appreciate you being here. Rio, who is a longtime supporter, thank you. And Legatus, I think I did not get a chance to thank you for helping mod yesterday's stream, so I really appreciate that. It's not too late to mention that in conversation. You should add it during your plug your stuff, Jill. I just saw your message.
Sure, I will.
Yeah, I tend to do these like random side notes as I notice things in various chats and messages and all that good sort of stuff. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of bookkeeping since we had some people who weren't here. Let's see. Cinevere wasn't able to make it last week. Kilowatt hasn't been able to make it for a couple weeks. Darnell, you weren't here last week, and Jill wasn't here last week. We had a very small last week, so. So quick thoughts from everyone on episode 3. Now that you're all caught up and Darnell, you said that you saw where we would have cop questions.
Yeah, the episode 2, I think it was. You'd said that y'all had questions. I could see where the questions would have come in, because I was asking myself the same thing. Like, man, okay, so this is probably one. I should have kept notes on it. But yeah, I rewatched them all today. 3 was interesting, but it started to get me out of the mindset of the basic plot, and it's like, okay, it's starting to veer far away from where we started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay.
So you'd rather it be a little bit more streamlined?
Yes and no. I can understand the need to add some subplots and side things, but the fact that it went so far, I think 3 barely even touched on the main plot. I could spend the episode dealing with the changes that had popped up, which confused me. Why are there so many different changes every day?
Mm-hmm.
Is my thing. Maybe they'll explain it in a future episode.
Maybe that's why this episode is called "What If He Can Change the Day?" So it is changeable.
Yeah, but they don't establish what the rules are. Like
Also, if you were watching on television, you probably wouldn't know the title.
Like he doesn't. They don't explain how he's able to keep the wounds. Do the wounds that he does keep heal over time? You know, how is he waking up earlier than 7:16 or 6:17 every morning? It's like he doesn't stick within the boundaries of what the story has given, because it's constantly changing.
I'm going to push back on a couple of those. One, we do see the wounds healing because there's less and less blood from the gunshot wound every time.
Yes.
Okay. And he does wake at 6:17 every time. He just stops waking her up. He's very careful to make sure he doesn't wake her up.
Yeah, when they show them interacting, it's like 6:20 or something.
Yeah, she's waking up later, not he's waking up earlier.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Also, if you've played League of Legends, you know this is just how it works. When black people time travel, they keep their injuries from the previous loops.
It also bothers me. Yeah. It also bothers me whenever they have an like this time loop where it isn't explained how it works, the rules of it. I agree completely with that
Well, I mean,
aspect.
it's
Hopefully,
from
you know.
his perspective, and he doesn't know how the rules work.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I will tell you that the ending of this episode is when he starts to figure out the rules. To that when we get that far, because I'm really interested to know what everybody thinks of that final scene.
Well, I do have a question about the healing over time. If he heals things over, what happened to the stitches? Like, shouldn't the stitches carry over with him because it's being placed in his body?
I don't think they do.
You mean from episode 2 when he wakes up in the hospital?
Yeah, when he gets all those
Yeah.
stitches and stuff. Like, how
Well,
come
why
they're
didn't
not?
that carry over?
Why didn't the like? Shouldn't there be some kind of healing going on?
They should, if they wanted to establish this continuity, they should show us like the exact time of day he has to take a dump. So if it's different, we know that his body is the time.
Except they've sort of done that. The cell phone.
Oh
The
yeah.
fact that the cell phone lasts all day in the beginning and then starts to die in the middle of the day, and then he has to start changing the battery first thing in the morning.
That aggravates you. Why does no one in movies have chargers?
Yeah, I know.
The house,
not-
the car, nowhere.
It's
I
not his
think-
house, so there's not a charger for his phone. Was my,
They have the same phone because she takes her battery. You can't swap batteries to different models.
Oh, that's a
I
good point.
think if I remember correctly, they do show her charging the phone at one point. But keep in
I
mind,
understand, Darnell.
this was 2006. I didn't even own a cell phone in 2006.
I did, and I
Hey,
had
me
I had
neither.
a, I had a charger in every main room of my house, and I had one in my car. By 2006. But
That seems crazy to me
I'm
because
very anal.
I
Very
had-
anal with that.
even when I got a cell phone, in fact, now I have 3 chargers, one in the car, one downstairs, one upstairs, and one of them doesn't work, so technically I only have 2.
I have one in living room, bedroom, office, 3 in my truck, 1 in my kids' room, 1 in my bathroom.
Chat, tell us how many phone chargers you have in your space, both now and in 2006. And if you're like Max and didn't exist in 2006, you can make us all feel old.
I was just gonna say, Max just made me feel so ancient.
Wow, even I'm feeling old. Jesus
I
Christ.
was gonna say, even a racer ceases to be a baby.
God damn.
Yeah,
I had a billion charge cables. Just
like
saying.
Abe, I had a phone in 2000. I had 3 or 4 chargers in 2000.
I mean, to be fair, I'm a bit of a Luddite, and like when I got this phone because I had a job for a while that required me to have one, and when this phone dies, I will not have one. So, I mean, there may be a certain amount of that, but I don't think. I think I knew a lot of people without cell phones in 2006. Or
Yeah.
at least people,
There were still a lot of people without them.
at least people who didn't like carry them everywhere. They were just sort of.
Right, but then cops tended to have them on them all times and had to keep them charged. Because I started police work in 2007, and cell phones were a major part of our gear. So
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I bet the reason they have them is because he's a cop and she's a nurse, and they're
But
probably
but having a charging wire everywhere was like an important thing. Because as a cop off duty, you're gonna get called constantly. He should have had something in his truck at least.
Okay, so Hanayama says he has 1 charger now. Jamma, number of chargers, and did you have a cell phone in 2006? Do you remember? Abe, I don't know how old you are, so. And Peeper says that they were ignored in the first chat. I apologize. They did not show up in EVMux. And
I think I got my first phone in 2005, or maybe it was 2006, and it was I got an old phone, already an outdated one by then. It was that Nokia, the black one with the snake.
The candy bar, the one that could slip through lava.
Yeah, right. You could run it over; it'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like those are the best phones
Great show
ever.
if our guy had just a Nokia could use as a weapon every loop.
Certainly make the show a little more interesting.
So the first cell phone I had was the Alias 2, which came out in 2009, and I just got rid of it like 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Because it forced me to do so. Or maybe it was 3 years ago. But yeah, very recent. Because that thing still has like the best customer service ratings of like any phone, and I have dropped it off buildings, I have dropped it downstairs, it has hit walls, and it was still running when they made me get rid of it. So
Jesus. It's like the Slinky commercial.
oh yeah, it's a great thing. So yeah, we do see a certain amount of that there is other things going on. The cell phone is supposed to be a hint that there are other things changing because the battery dies, but it doesn't die as fast as the phone battery should. Otherwise, the fact that he's been running for 4 days, the phone battery would already be dead as opposed to low battery.
Right. So yeah, that bothered me. Like the day 4, he had low battery. It should have been dead by day 3. If the phone's like him, not same status as the day before, that should have been dead like.
I thought it was like the wounds. Like the wounds heal, but not instantaneously, but faster than they should if it was actual real time.
Well, the fact he got shot and he was like, "You need to do this," gets out, and he's predominantly right-handed. He gets out, and he fires in the car. Like, but she puts the peroxide. He's like, "Oh!"
Yes!
Okay, we had that
conversation. I was the same way. What are you doing? You can't use that hand anymore.
That conversation was 2 weeks ago.
We really are in a time loop. Oh my god.
I do have a question though. I feel like it would make okay, does he have enhanced memory?
It's interesting because he does have. So I think we asked that last week too, and we were kind of undecided. That he does seem to be having flashes, like his brain is working weird because it has all these memories that are sort of taking place on the same day, but not quite. So yeah, they're a little bit unclear about that. Like, are they supposed to just be memories in case you've forgotten from week to week? Or is he actually, like, has his brain been cleared by this weird event?
Yeah, I assumed it was not diegetic. I thought it was just a way to remind the audience of what's happening, and in one case, like PTSD.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It could be a little bit of both.
What it felt like to me, it seemed like he remembered everything, but like because there's new changes, he's having to adapt to the new change and add that to something he has to fix. It's like he remembers what he needs to do. Because I think in episode 2 he mentions it, like he needs to do this to fix things. But like as he wakes up, the memory's there, but like, oh, this is something else he's got to add on top of it. So now he's got to come this way. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But
like he's an habit of forgetting what he has to do.
He remembers very specific details, though, like phone numbers and stuff.
And the case number.
Yeah, no, because he does go back to get the picture.
That's fair. I guess it doesn't always show him doing that in every loop, but he could pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's this goes back a little bit, but what's the indication that the cell phone is part of the loop or is looping with him?
It starts. Sorry,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, go.
The phone starts out by lasting all day, and then it starts to die in the middle of the day, and then as soon as he gets up, it reads low battery.
Okay, thank you. Then that
Okay,
answered
so
my question.
So it's
rules
like my
established-
patience with the show.
Pretty much. So rules established say that if he gets a wound that's significant enough, it will impact him the next time he wakes up. So say he were to get shot, does that carry over? Like, is there some kind of consequence to that?
I'm sorry, say.
You broke up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So say he gets shot in the head, right? Does that carry over, or is there some kind of consequence to that?
Probably.
So this is not really a spoiler. But I cheated and I did watch 5, mainly because I got screwed up and watched the wrong episode. They do actually address that in 5 as to whether or not he would die if he was shot.
I was kind of hoping he would, because it would add a layer of tension to the time loop where he can't just throw caution to the wind because any injuries or deaths he sustains would carry over, so he can't do the kind of suicidal things he might otherwise be able to do to get answers.
Right. Yeah, they do talk about that in 5.
Okay.
This is why I remembered that 5 is when they bring it back very abruptly, because I was like, wait a minute, this shoot, I've watched the wrong episode. I gotta go back and watch 4. This is the right one. So as usual, we started out with kind of the end of the last episode. What do we think?
It was bizarre that they show his partner in the flashback saying something terrible happened, and then 30 seconds into the episode, it plays the exact same scene of her saying something terrible happened.
Yeah, but aside from that, I feel like it would be too much of a stereotype if they ended the episode on the end of a day all the time. I sort of like the fact that they're ending part way through a day.
Oh, sure. I'm not complaining about the episode. I'm complaining about the recap that played beforehand.
No. But
okay.
I'm asking what you guys think about not ending it, because, like I said, it seems like it would be natural to end it at the end of a day, but I kind of like that they don't.
It's opening it on the thing that's going to be the central focus for the episode, which is his partner and the man whose name I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they've ended it on her
Eddie
saying that she's killed Eddie.
Eddie, yes, thank you.
And then they come back and they do kind of a 10-second, because I think they've done this every episode, that there's about like 10 seconds that they overlap between the last episode and the current episode.
Yeah, considering this episode is really about her and Eddie, this is a good place to start it.
Mm-hmm. And we have another of these kind of neat. It's interesting. You were talking about there must be nobody that lives in the city, and yet they constantly have these overhead shots at night of everything being like super busy.
So everyone in California, everyone there's a vampire. They just don't go out during the day.
Well, my thought was he lives in an extremely wealthy neighborhood, and probably everybody's gone to work. Because, like, my road is crazy busy at 7 o'clock in the morning and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is dead the rest of the time. There is, like, no traffic except the mailman. So I don't know if it's something like that, but like I said, everyone did that in 2006. It was in, like, every chase scene in every movie and every television show had these, like, driving over curbs and winging into traffic, and there was never any traffic.
Oh, wow.
So until you mentioned it, it didn't even occur to me that there was a problem with that. I was like, everybody does that. It's like the shaky cam. Like, everyone did that because the Bourne movie had come out and it was really popular. So
I mean, if every show put an orange filter over all their shots, would you do it too?
I'm sorry, say again?
If every show put an orange filter over all of their shots, would you do it too?
It depends. If a show was extremely popular and made a ridiculous amount of money, then yeah, I might. So, especially if it was the same genre, because I don't think I say everyone did shaky cam, but it wasn't everyone did shaky cam. Everything action related did shaky cam. So she tells Hopper that he came over, he was tweaking, he got rough. She tried to defend herself. He went over the edge, and he died. And she's feeling very guilty, and she's kind of borderlining on tears.
And we don't know if she's telling the truth at this point.
Oh, she's not. Here's why. I counted 10 steps from the main door that they're standing at in the beginning to the balcony. There is no way that she accidentally threw him through a window and he stumbled that far to fall go feet over a banister. There's just no way.
Did she say she threw him through a window?
No, but there's a broken window that he went through, that you could tell that he went through, and he went over the railing.
The only thing I could say supports what she said is he was high, and his balance was lost. He just kept going. Which
Well, the other possibility is if they were fighting on the deck, she might have hit the window. If he
that's
got,
fair.
Or it was part of the fight before he went over.
Because we don't know how long the fight went or what happened or where it started.
I mean,
and
she's
of course,
unscathed.
And of course, well, we see the front of her. We don't know what the back of her head looks like. But we also know in the next rotation that she's not being entirely honest with him about her relationship with Eddie either.
Mm-hmm.
So no cheating from the people who were here last week, because I already asked this question. Did anybody recognize him?
No.
Yes.
Not at all.
I thought he was the confidential informant.
Wait, from earlier in the show?
I thought he was Slim at first, yeah.
He's not even he's not even the same race.
I had to run to IMDb when I saw him. I was like, wait, who's
I thought you meant from other stuff. I recognize him from other things, yes.
Yeah, no, that's what I was asking. Was
the mayor in the Dark Knight series, the Nolan trilogy. He's in Psych. He's the other fake psychic in Psych.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They call him Mr. Eyeliner because his eyelashes do the eyeliner. Mine do the same thing. So I know this guy.
I'm so jealous.
He's also second in command of the others in Lost. He's the immortal guy.
Yes.
Richard. I had a very hard time not thinking of him as Richard the entire show, even though I've seen the show multiple times.
This is me seeing Jane as Chad.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Chad is Casey from Chuck. It's so weird seeing him like this.
So we also find out that Hopper is not the super cop he appeared, because he basically says, this isn't your fault, we're going to fix it.
That bothered me.
Huh?
That bothered the shit out of me, because what she explained was easily explained to detectives when you call it in. Absolutely easily explained.
This is why I said in the back that this guy is a brain dead fuckwit, because he had no reason to move the body. I don't feel that they actually went out of their way to make sure that he was still alive. They just were like, you know what? We're going to move him. What?
Except that she's already under investigation with AI.
She has probable cause for what she did.
She says she has probable cause for what she did.
It doesn't matter. His instincts should not have been move the body.
It doesn't matter to him how this particular day turns out.
That's probably true. He doesn't really care. He's like, this is going to change anyway.
Gives him more information about how the conflict happens that he can use on other days. Doesn't matter if she just calls it in and gets off today. It's going to reset.
Right. So they were pulled over. So they just to show their plan. But what it sounded like to me, they were going to bring him back to the house and position him there like he died at home. The guy's already covered in dirt. There's blood outside of her house on the ground. Like there's no. You just created a felony.
They're not going to find him until tomorrow. That doesn't happen.
If he didn't care, he would leave the body there. Say, hey, call the cops. You've done nothing wrong. Yeah,
or not even report it.
Yeah, and then say, hey, I've got to go.
It wouldn't matter that he's covered dirt and everything anyway, because he says we're going to call it in from a payphone around the corner, which is automatically going to look suspicious.
Right, right.
But they're going to tie it back to her.
Either don't call it in at all because he knows it's going to reset, or call it in right then and there.
Yes.
See, now I'm doing it again. His name isn't Richard. What is it? Eddie. So Eddie wakes up in the back seat and he's spitting blood everywhere. And she says, I swear there was.
So I have a quick question. Was this meant to be like a serious moment when he wakes up and starts spitting up blood? Because I was trying to take this seriously, but I couldn't help but laugh. It came off as more comical than serious. I don't know. It's like when someone comes back to like those horror comedies where you think someone's dead, and then you get this where they just zap back to life.
It does kind of something like happen in Psych on that topic.
You're right. It really does, but it's just they're trying to be serious, and I cannot take them serious in this.
Keep in mind that in horror movies, that is also intended to be taken seriously.
Well, I was having a hard time taking it serious here, man. Seriously,
But
like,
again, I think this is because you've watched a lot of horror movies that came out in more modernly. I don't think that's a word, but more modernly than this show did. And again, this show used a lot of shaky cam because it was really popular. Shows now do that whole movies do that whole wake up thing because it was done at this period of time and was really popular.
Now they use sham to hide the fact that a person can't fight or run or anything like that. That's what shaky cams for is used now.
Yep.
Like when you see like the 80-pound, the 5 foot tall, 80-pound soca wet girl beating up 6 foot 300-pound guys, shaky cam is there to show that the actress is slow and she winds up all of her attacks, and which makes no sense.
It's too bad because shaky cam used to be to give you a sense of kind of nausea and action and speed.
Like you're in the action, yeah.
And it's used much more more differently than now. But the same thing, will wake up thing. I mean, I do think there are horror movies now that use it as parody, but that's because it was such a popular trope for so long. And it was intended to be taken seriously. But they spin around and they go zipping back towards the nearest hospital. She's driving like crazy, so of course a cop sees them.
This is something else that bothered me. They're on a fucking dead street. No one's driving. She would have seen the black and white coming. Because this is after they do the U-turn.
Wait, did you say there's no one? Did you say there's no traffic? Because I can see.
Okay.
There were 2 cars.
There are 4 cars just in that shot.
When I say no traffic, I mean and this just could be me, that my training that caused me to do this. When I'm driving, I'm always looking way down ahead of me. This part where the cop sees them and the part where she goes through the red light, there's a distance between the two. She would have seen lights coming. She would have seen a car coming.
Being married to a man who has, I don't know, like 10 speeding tickets under his belt or something ridiculous like that, most people do not look ahead of themselves.
True, but she's a cop. He's a cop. This would bother me.
She's a cop, and she's barely looking in front of her. She's looking in the back seat. Mm-hmm. She's too busy going, holy shit, like, I didn't kill him after all.
One of them should have noticed it.
Guys from his injuries.
So she says, I can lose him. Hopper says, no, like...
Which is a stupid thing to say. I'm sorry, which is a very dumb, poor decision.
Well, the funny thing is, you say that you have issues with Hopper's decision making. I have so much more of an issue with her decision making.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, no. I feel like everyone in this series is stupid, and that they're hoping somebody else is less stupid than they are.
How did she make it to detective thinking like this?
Yes, exactly.
To be detective, you have to have at least in LAPD at least 5 years. I think it is 5 to 10 years on your belt before you can be a detective.
It's not corruption; it's stupidity, Kilo.
Yeah. Well, she says later that she for so long has felt hopeless and like she hasn't, like she didn't see any way out. Like, so there are studies that actually show that under certain types of stress, you literally get dumber. Like you, the more stress you're under, the narrower your focus gets, and the harder time you have making good decisions.
Yeah, and cops aren't immune to that, but cops would have training to I don't know. It just the dumb decisions is too unbelievable.
This is why people watching really bad movies and shows
I
think they
think
make sense.
I'm surprised that Brett didn't ask to drive or like insist that he's driving because she is clearly in shock.
That's but we discussed this earlier too. In the first episode, is it? When he drives even though he's been shot?
With his right arm, by the way.
Apparently there is a rule in this show that whoever owns the car drives no matter what.
That was a thing back in 2005, yeah. In movies,
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It wasn't unwritten, but like she's right. Like the people who own the who drove the vehicle. And then Hollywood realized that's really stupid, and they went away from that.
So Hopper basically says, I'm narcotics. this is my partner, and he gets the guy focused on there's an injured officer in the back seat instead of who are you? Let me see some ID. So the guy gives them, calls it in, and then gives them an escort to the hospital.
Why? Why did they say he's a cop when he's not a cop?
He didn't.
He's
He
just a
said
security
officer.
guard.
He said officer because
Oh, he said officer?
Technically, no, security is an officer. Security officers.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that for him to say who he was, and when he could have said former cop, or he said he's an injured officer in the back seat. But like the speed which he jumped out is not realistic. Like the cop would have had his hand on his gun, get back in the fucking car, or he's had the gun drawn down on him.
Except that she gets everybody focused. She said she pulls everyone to that side of the car and says, "I need some assistance with."
No. This is when they get pulled over. This is when they get pulled over.
Yeah, he hops out immediately.
He does. He does. But
the cop walking up would have been like, "Hey, no, stop."
Yeah, it's dumb, but it is a calculated risk because they think the guy in the back has minutes to live because he gets out and immediately shows his badge.
I'm not saying
I was going to say
stupid.
His badge is like leads the way.
Right. Yeah. He's not stupid. Is the cop approaching is dumb. The reaction is dumb. Like if you see the movement, and because there's no tinted windows, when he jumps out, I mean, you immediately, hey, who the fuck are you? And then when his hand comes up, they'd be like, okay, now we're de-escalating. We're moving on.
I feel like this is a district difference because that would never happen in my entire state.
Really?
This is the LAPD.
But I mean, I'm in Louisiana, and that's how we're taught to react to someone jumping out of a vehicle.
Yeah,
I'm in rural fucking sleepy Louisiana, and that's our trained in this. Like someone jumps out of a vehicle, hey, what the fuck? Stop.
I mean, I'm trying to remember. Like they actually have said that in Maine there are less shootings. At least the last time I checked, 100% of them were considered good shootings. And they said that in Maine, people are actually less likely, like cops wait too long to pull their gun. And the theory is that it's because we use guns so often that we understand like what bodies look like after they've been shot.
Well, if that study was recent, it's happening all across the country. Cops are waiting too long to pull their weapons.
Yep,
it's happening. That's happening a lot.
Yeah, this is why it's been a while since I've worked there, but so they get to the hospital. She gets everyone's attention. You notice they're all like focused down into the. She pulls everyone around to that side of the car, gets everyone focused down into the car. Not for very long though. That cop immediately is like, "Hey, what happened to your partner?" But by then he's already gone.
Which, yeah, that would have brought up a bunch of questions she'd have to answer.
Well, except we're not looking at this from her perspective. We're looking at it from his, and for him, the night is now over. So it is now 6:17 again, and we're into day 2 for this round. That is my. I do wish they didn't start the number rotation over every episode. I wish the days were numbered from episode to episode.
Yeah, because this wasn't day 2. This would have been like day 3 or 4.
That also really screwed me up. Like, why are these numbers appearing now, and why don't they match?
Yeah, I have no idea.
3 or 4. This would be like 5 or 6, because he's woken up multiple times an episode.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right. But this is 2 for this episode, and I do wish. I think is that and again I'm spoiling. I'm spoiling a little bit for 5. But he gets asked, when did that happen? And he says, today. And they say, but which today? And he says, I can't remember anymore which rotation I'm on. So I think the reason that they don't give us numbers is to add to the fact that he gets to the point where he's very confused as to what happened on which rotation.
I can understand, but it's confusing for a viewer for this.
Well, it is, but I think that's intentional. Because again, keep in mind they didn't streamline things quite as much back then. Right. And if he's confused, you're supposed to be confused. But I do like, and that was the other reason I thought maybe his brain is actually rewriting differently, because he says, like, everything just is kind of and I'm having a hard time remembering. Like, I don't remember which rotation I'm on. So I wondered if, like, they're actually, like, literally kind of laying over each other like Oh shoot, Darnell, you're going to be the only one that can help me here because you're the only one old enough. You know when they used to lay the clear things on top of the paper so that.
Oh yeah,
In,
tracing paper.
It's not what I was thinking of,
Animation.
but tracing paper works. I was thinking in school when they used to like shine things on the wall, and you had the little plastic things that they lay down and they draw on.
Yeah, and it smelled good.
But tracing paper is a good way of looking at it. That you lay it over and you can kind of see what's underneath it. But the more layers of tracing paper you put over it,
it goes away.
It starts to get hard to figure out which lines are where or on which sheet.
Yeah. Acetate. Yeah, Abe's got it. Acetate.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, that's. I couldn't remember the name.
So see, now we have just this little tiny hole and just a little trickle of blood.
Okay.
So we know that he's healing faster than he should be from day to day, but still slower than, he's not he's not like a werewolf instantaneous heal or something.
Do they establish? I wish. Right. Do they establish it's only his injuries ever, or is it injuries as well? Because the dude who's following him gets shot in the hotel. The next episode, he's walking around like he's fine.
Rita's died several times.
But he got shot in the leg. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but Rita's he's right. Rita's died.
Okay, so it's just his.
Andrea's died.
So
I don't know if the guys were protected like him, like they reset. It seemed like they knew what was going on, then they didn't know what was going on. I got kind of confused with them two guys.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The two guys that him. That he,
the one dude in the black car.
Yeah, the two villain, in the black car. When he jumps in, he's like, "Hey, why are y'all following me?" Outside of his apartment. I couldn't tell if they were in his loop or they were protected and would remember things, or they were outside like everybody else. Because it didn't seem consistent to me.
I mean, it looks consistent.
Well,
yeah, it looks consistent to me.
One episode is they knew something. I could be remembering it wrong because again I watched all four really fast today. I want to say I was surprised. Wait a minute, these guys knew something that they shouldn't know if they're like everyone else and don't realize, but they do because they showed up somewhere they shouldn't have been.
They're also tracking him with a GPS thing on his car,
which we just found out this episode.
Right, I'd have to rewatch to find exactly what I'm talking about. There was one scene where they pop up somewhere, and they shouldn't have popped up there.
They do it several times, and we don't know how that happens until this episode when we find out they've been tracking him with the GPS.
Okay.
It does feel like movie magic until we find out that they've been tracking him the whole time. So we get a nice boob shot.
Sweet.
She's very good in everything she does. I find.
I mean, if you want to talk about inconsistencies, the amount of cleavage she reveals when she wakes up definitely changes from episode to episode.
That's the feminine mystique. That's how it works.
Yep. So she calls him. They have this whole conversation about, she says, now you're dressed and I've missed all the good parts. And then he kisses her and she says, oh, that's a good part. They will have this conversation 3 times in this episode. And the fact that he never sounds like he's bored or it's rote, I thought was pretty good.
That's cute, yeah.
I like this because he's starting to open up with her and it could help him, start to figure out how to solve the loops.
He did that a little in 3 too, when he says, I have this witness.
And he says no. Somebody want to tell me he says no, then he says yes. He starts to tell her. I don't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry.
No, that's
I realized, so he realized if he opened up, he can make progress.
I feel like that the whole scene that you're talking about right there made no sense. They try to make her sound like she is saying something profound when all she's saying is, yeah, screw the girl, solve the case. And then on this one, she's saying, oh, save the girl. But then what happens to solving the case?
He doesn't tell her about the case in this round.
Yes, I know that, but he's taking her words of you should save her to be, profound and, this is what you should be doing, duh.
Well,
it didn't work last time. You might as well try her new advice this time.
I get where you're coming from. And to add on to what Goat said, he didn't tell her about the case, but her response is still basically the same, save the girl.
She said solve the case, which would mean that he has to ignore the fact that she is dying.
No.
Well,
What she
no,
said.
no,
Sorry,
sorry,
go ahead.
go. Oh no, I was gonna say what he says in that previous what she says is that if solving the case saves the girl, solve the case.
Yes,
Like
but
she's
he
not saying
also
ignore. She's not saying to
no.
like ignore the
He's
girl. She's
he
saying
said he said specifically that if he saves or keeps saving the girl, he can't solve the case. So she's saying solve the case, which means he can't save the girl.
No, she says will the girl get hurt if you solve the case, and he says
And
I don't know.
he
Yeah.
actually the way he's saying it is basically saying yes, she would, because he's nodding yes, but saying I don't know because he doesn't want to think about it.
But
Watch him, because he starts to say yes by nodding, and then he says I don't know, and then you see his head do some like a circular motion, which means his body language, which this is a well acted scene, because that's an actual thing. Your body language will not line up with what you're thinking. What you're saying completely contradicts what you said or what you're thinking.
Well, he starts to say yes, she will get hurt because Rita has gotten killed when he gets caught and fails to solve the case.
Right, that's what I mean.
He doesn't know if she's going to get hurt if he solves the case.
Right, I took it as he was saying yes, but then he was like, maybe not. He was like changing his own. He was like, maybe no, maybe she's right.
Yeah, he thinks that she will get killed, but she only gets killed when he fails.
She gets killed every single time because he
fails every time.
Well, hold on. She is supposed to get kidnapped every morning. Like there shouldn't have been any change to that.
Actually, we don't know when she gets kidnapped.
When she's supposed to go to the hospital is when she gets kidnapped. Because remember, he called repeatedly and then finds out that she was supposed to be at the 8 a.m. shift and then missed it.
Yeah, but we don't know exactly, because what they say is she called in.
Oh,
right. So that's in the morning.
Right, but that doesn't mean that's when she gets kidnapped.
Okay.
We don't know what happens to her during the day. We can guess, we can surmise, we can make assumptions based on external things, but we don't actually know what happens.
I'm guessing we'd find out later in a later episode, so it kind of clear this up.
Well, the only times we know what happens to her is when Chad goes to her.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because we do know when they say like she like called in, we do know that Chad has shown up to the hospital and taken her out at least once. So we don't know what happens when Hopper is not involved at all.
So the scene where Chad shows up bothers me because she says he didn't do it. And if she would just say he was with me all night, that would have like been a huge witness on his side, on Hopper's side.
She says that several times.
She's done that, yeah.
But she doesn't tell Chad he was with me when they're talking like that.
She does.
Yeah, she does.
I rewound it to see, and I didn't hear her say that because while they're talking, he's like, he didn't do it, and he says something like it would be helpful for him if you came down, and she doesn't. I don't remember her specifically saying he was with me all night. I don't specifically remember her saying that.
When he wakes up with the bullet wound, she tells the investigating officers that, and they say, well, then how did he get the bullet wound? And of course she can't explain that. She tells them again in the episode in front of Chad.
I mean in the hospital.
What?
I mean
she
in the
does
hospital.
Not literally say the same words every loop, but they've established that when questioned, she says he was with her all night.
There was a couple times I walked out the living room to go pick up some clothes I was folding. I may have missed that.
You were saying?
Missed that spot.
when Chad takes her to the station, she tells the investigating officers in front of Chad that he was with her.
Okay, I don't. Then that's one of the scenes I'd walked out on. Okay, I
You were
apologize.
saying in episode 1, this is not a show you can watch while looking at your phone. You got to pay attention.
Yes, yes, I know. I'm home alone this week, and my job is to clean the house while all the kids are gone. It's a monumental task, and I didn't listen to my own advice.
So they have the kissy scene. He says, I'm trying to get an early start. She looks very stoned in this still shot.
Oh yeah.
He realizes the phone battery is low. He changes out the batteries. I think the assumption is that she goes in later, so she'll still have time to charge the phone. I don't.
But the fact that she never says, "What are you doing?" or like changing the battery, that bothered me.
Oh yeah.
Unless
for
this
sure.
unless this is something they just normally do. Like if he goes.
Maybe, yeah.
It'd be kind of weird.
I've never heard of couples, even back then, swapping batteries, just to conveniently help the other. That sounded, I would be like, the hell are you doing?
Maybe you're just super possessive of your
I
phone.
think when he does it one
If
of the
somebody's
first times,
messing with
he
my
tries to
phone, I
hide
wanna
it
know
from
what's
her,
happening.
but they're not consistent about that.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Caleb?
I think maybe it's like the first or second time he does that. It looks like he's trying to hide it from her,
This
but
time
not
he
very
didn't.
well, and they're not consistent about it.
And this time he
Yes.
didn't. He was like, she was standing there watching him. He was swapping the batteries out. I'm like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
he's just like fuck it, I don't care anymore.
yeah.
So he tells her that he thinks that Andrea
Wait.
is mixed up in something funny with Eddie, and that he might be using again. And she says, Eddie's had a really rough go of it. Like, you should try and help her. And he says, I've tried. What if it doesn't work? And she says, well, then you tried. This was kind of an odd shot. I love some of the weird coloring on some of the scenery, but
Oh, this one. Yes.
so we go to
I
her
love
lying in
Victoria
bed. She picks up the phone. I did like the fact. Remember, I was complaining about the fact that Hopper and are dressed when they get up, and I was like, how long can they have been together if they're going to bed with clothes on?
Mhm.
She is not dressed, which I appreciated. That always bugs me in this generation of shows. Everyone is always wearing clothes, even when they're supposedly getting busy. So he says, "Stay away from Eddie. I think he's using." And she's like, I know this is out of the blue. I know I haven't talked to you in 6 months, but so she hangs the phone up, and then we find out that she, in fact, is in bed with Eddie. So this is where we learn that she has not been entirely honest about her relationship with him.
It's another dumb decision that shows how stupid she is, and she shouldn't be a detective, because he tells her that, she wouldn't be like, he told me you were using again. Like, he said stay away from you. Something would click in her head to not tell him exactly what her partner just said.
She didn't say he says you're using again. She just said it's Hopper. He said I should stay away from you.
Right. Something should be going off in her head as a trained veteran detective to be like, maybe I shouldn't tell him. There's a reason my partner's telling me this.
Is there
I will actually defend her
dinner?
here. I will defend her here. She has battered spouse syndrome. You could see it in her actions. So she would tell him because they're retarded.
Fair enough.
I was gonna say, ask me how many female corrections officers and nurses got walked out of the prison because they did not make good decisions.
Also, Hopper bringing this out of the view is incredibly suspicious.
That
Which they talk
also, Brett, Eddie thinks that Brett got him fired, so they probably already have gossiped a lot about Brett. And
I
so
noticed
it's natural.
I've noticed that Brett never ever explains himself until he absolutely has to because somebody's about to die.
Like, he wouldn't have told his former partner why he turned him in. Why he wouldn't have waited this long to do that.
He didn't turn him in.
Or not tell him about the drug test is what I'm saying. Like, I agree with what you said. Like, it's been long enough. Like, he had never mentioned it to him.
I don't think that's true because he said he got me fired, and Andrea says that's not how it happened. So apparently, it's a fairly well-known thing, and Eddie just wants somebody to blame.
That is
Someone
true.
anonymously reported this. Eddie thinks it's Hopper and does not have proof, and she does not think it was Hopper, but it was anonymous. At least they don't know.
Eddie very much is in dry drunk mode. That like I didn't do anything wrong. It's not that I was using on the job. It's not that I have continued to use since. It's that, well, Hopper shouldn't have turned me in. He was a rat. As opposed to what we find out later when he knows that he was like almost cost people their lives.
In the cop world though, like his feelings like that are justified, but it's kind of like normal, because if you don't completely blindly defend the people around you, you will be seen as a rat. And
it is
now
it is also the methodology. It is also the methodology in addiction. That is also how addicts look at everything.
Yes.
So you're saying cops and addicts are the same?
Sort of. Yeah, there's a little bit of overlap. Yeah.
And police officers are sort of addicted to their job. So
yes, and that culture is starting to go away now. The whole if you don't blindly defend, you're a rat is starting to turn, but it's at the time this came out. Yeah, that was very prevalent in 2005. That it was still, if you don't blindly defend your people around you against everyone in the world, you're a rat.
It's coming back to the thing we mentioned in episode 1. Should have just called his union rep.
But she basically says, "Is there something you're not telling me?" And he's, I wouldn't do that. Hopper's just trying to ruin us.
But she knows his history. Something should be like going off in her head.
I mean, look at her face. Something is going off in her head.
And yet she still makes poor choices.
Like I said, ask me how many female correction officers and nurses have gotten walked out of the prison.
Very true.
And counselors and therapists and psychiatrists and...
I mean, Goat, if I called you tomorrow morning and say you need to trust me and stay away from your husband today, would you do it?
But he's just a guy. They're just dating. They're not. I get where you're coming from, but that's like
they've known each other. They've known each other a very long time, though. She's been Hopper's partner for 2 years. Eddie was his partner for 2 years. Chad was apparently in there somewhere.
Chad's fucking Hopper's girlfriend. Was married to her.
Well, I mean, there's some.
We knew they were married. We don't necessarily know they were getting busy.
There's some serious nepotism / occupational. Well, I was going to say occupational incest that seems to go on with that whole thing.
That again, that is part of that was very part of the culture. It's starting to go away, but in first responders in general, the like you said, the occupational incestual stuff was very, very prevalent around that time. Like partners were constantly getting busy with each other if they were opposite sex.
I mean, I'm sure it probably happened even if they weren't.
Well,
but there's also the fact that, that's who you see most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few other people that are going to It's not like if you're married to an office worker, you can go home and explain your day to them as a police officer.
Right.
I mean, I even ran into that in counseling. That I can't go home.
You're telling me that cops are addicted to incest?
Well, I definitely have had feelings for someone, but never acted on it because I was either married or in a serious relationship. But when someone has your back in a shootout, or someone has your back in like a very hot situation, I don't mean like hot like lustful situation. I mean like just like where you are bare bones in front of this person. There tends to be like this attraction.
Oh,
and telling that the two people Hopper has PTSD flashbacks about dying are Rita and Andrea.
Here's everybody's favorite, running down the hill scene.
I'm gonna go back to Bad Boys 2 on this one. When they're going through the favelas in Cuba.
It happens in the Italian Job. It happens
everything.
It happened in everything.
Commando. It happened in Commando.
It feels so forced here, though, because, like, to me, it felt as if like there's not a lot of action in this episode. It's relatively tame, and I feel like they were looking back at the script for the episode, and they were like, "We need something here. We need a shootout. We need a chase scene. We need something cool."
It's not even
So
a
they
real
were like, "Hey,
chase
let's
scene,
just
though.
no, but still, like we needed something where something was happening. We get him just
This
skirting off the
feels-
side of the road.
This
And
feels like
it's
they shot a longer chase scene, but it didn't work with the pace of the episode or something, so they cut out just that one part and cut the rest of the chase scene out of the episode.
I want to
yeah, kind of.
take back an earlier comment. I said I thought everybody was probably out to work, but now I'm looking at the number of cars and the fact that the trash cans are still out. I don't think anyone else has left for work yet.
Well, no one works in this town apparently.
I mean,
This is my
Always
point,
cars
man.
everywhere.
Like,
There's no
that's
people.
obviously not.
he drives
That's
off.
obviously not true.
He drives off the road. He goes down this crazy slope. There's dust and dirt flying into his windshield. He can't see where he's going, and like he's lucky that no one lives in this town because like people would have been dead. He would have mowed people over, and at best you would go, "Hey, make sure you don't run anyone over tomorrow." Like
I'm
it's
shocked he
just
didn't
so
total his
stupid.
car.
It's so
Why-
like it didn't need to be here. It felt
Why
like
did
they
they
would
chase
have
him?
been
Why-
doing so.
Well, wait. Why did they chase him if they have a GPS tracker on him? Because he hasn't found
Yes.
They
Yes.
didn't even chase him. He saw them following him at a normal speed, and then he just went off the road.
Well, no. To be
Exactly,
fair,
yeah.
I don't think they were they weren't really following him at a normal speed. Like they were kind of up his ass for people supposed to be, tailing
That's what I was
back
about to say.
and like they are
Because-
way too close. That like you're not. It was just
My
So
word,
the fact
get
that-
what,
if they
I
would
forget
have
which
shot
movie
it.
it was in. There's a scene where like the guy's being followed, and because he's in a bigger vehicle, he just slams his brakes on, have them rear end him where their engine's just disabled, and he drives off. Why didn't he do that? The streets were pretty much empty. He could have done that because they were right on his ass, like you said.
I was like, yeah, you're right. They were following him more quickly,
So-
but there was no shaky cam, so I didn't interpret it as an action scene.
It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's not an action scene. It just makes no sense that they're not being discreet.
Well, he doesn't. So he doesn't know about the GPS, and he doesn't know that they already show up in this house after he leaves.
And they have
And he
no
doesn't-
reason to think he's made them.
Right.
And he doesn't want to lead them to this house. So his wanting to avoid them kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, no, true. But again, I'm thinking I'm in a truck, in a essentially a Crown Victoria. I know it's probably I think it's a Mercury, but still it's a Crown Victoria. Just slam your brakes on. Have them when they go to the rearview mirror shot, they're right on his ass. Brake check him, let him hit him, and then fucking haul ass.
Although
mean,
they
I have-
do know that he's onto him when he hops over the median.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I drive a very large truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that the thing is a tank. And I have had people, like, drive up my butt, and I have given consideration to it and gone, I don't really think so. I have no idea how this is going to go, and this is the only vehicle we have.
Right, but you're also gonna wake up tomorrow and it's the next day. He knows he's gonna wake up as the day over again.
I mean,
could've-
if I
Kill
knew
him.
if I knew it was going to be the very end of the day and it was 10 o'clock at night, sure. But I don't want to lose an entire day. So she basically says that she sent 2 packages. She sent one to him. She sent one to his sister. And he was acting very nervous. And he basically says, "Stay away from your boyfriend. Get out of
Is-
here. Get
Is
dressed
that
and
a
get out."
different actress
No.
playing that part?
I
No.
don't
No.
think so.
It didn't look
Although-
like it. She didn't look like the girl before.
Well, she's
It
wearing
is the
less
same
clothes
chick.
now.
She's in the pool at this point.
Well, she
When
just got
she
out of the
says-
shower in the other scene.
How
She had a
less
towel
wet
on.
having come out of the pool. I do have a question though. Did anyone notice that she ran the wrong way in the 3rd
Yes.
episode right as she
Yes.
got shot? Okay,
Shot
just
in the
making
chest
sure.
in this 3rd
Yeah.
episode.
Yup.
Yeah.
I thought about
I-
that.
I took that as he's changing things, and she was in a different spot this time than she was before.
That's fair.
I
enough.
would just chalk that up to that.
Well, she
Yeah,
was
'cause-
supposed to ran away from the pool because the guys were coming from the pool. She spotted them and the gun, yet she ran towards them.
I thought
Oh,
she was running
excuse
towards
me.
the door. I thought she was running towards the door.
No, she ran towards them because they're
Yeah,
outside of
they
the
shot her
house
in the
at the
chest.
pool. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what
Right.
you're saying now.
But I think she was headed for the door. It just happened to take her because there's a fence around the pool. Like, where's she going to escape to?
Well, that's how they get in, right? That's how the cop gets in. There's a back door or a
Yeah.
door on the gate.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I thought that too. Like, shot her in the chest, that meant she was running towards them.
Yeah.
That, like, if there's two guys who I don't recognize, and this guy just told me, my life's in danger, there may be a fence behind me, but I'm running to the fence. I'm not running at the guys.
Or going into
Wait.
the house and
No,
running
that's-
towards the front door.
Episode 3, he didn't tell her that in episode 3.
But whatever he told her, stay away, and whatever he told her at the pool, I guess just as a person, if a cop is a detective sitting there telling me, stay away from your boyfriend, and blah, blah, and he sees the guys and runs, I'm not running towards those guys if the door's right there. I'm running this way.
She doesn't get shot in the pool in this one when he tells her that.
No.
She's getting dressed and trying to get out of here. Get out of there and runs.
I know what she's talking about. She's referring to the episode where she got shot. When they find her, she's shot in the back. But then the next episode, she gets shot in the chest and falls in the pool on her back.
Right, I understand that. But you're saying if somebody said my life was in danger, he doesn't tell her that in that episode. He tells her that in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
But she still runs
it is
at
confusing.
She still runs at two people with a gun because you watch her. I rewound the scene to make sure that this happened. She screams, her break towards the guys with the gun and they shoot her in the chest. Instead of when she screams, she runs into the house away from the assailant.
I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I wasn't really thinking a whole lot about episode 3 because we covered it last week.
Oh no, I know. I derailed the whole thing, but I mean that whole scene kind of irritated me.
I can't seem to get the shot here, but she's trying to leave the house and runs into our big beds. So then we go to Jen, who, by the way, is not at work yet.
An important thing that we learned in the last scene is that there are 2 packages.
Yes, I said that.
Oh,
She delivered 2 packages, one to him and one to Jen. So he calls her about the package. She denies having the package. He says, "Oh, your husband must have taken it." You notice that ever since he saw the bruises on her wrist, he won't say his name.
Mm-hmm.
Refers to him as your husband.
I never thought of that. Oh yeah.
He used his name until he saw the bruises, and then he's just your husband. You won't use his name. Yet. Actually, is she at work? I'm trying to remember. Is this where he says, "I'm going to come get you"?
Yes, she is at work, which, by the way, means
it must
that
be very early in the day then, because there are no students.
Yes, but here's the other thing.
It could be her planning period.
Her husband isn't there, and every iteration he has been there before the cop guy or before Brett shows up, right? So what changed to make sure that he was not there anymore?
This is the first time the house. This is the first time the house has been tossed. Yeah, this is the first time the house has been tossed because we have seen them enter the house and had it be neat, and this is the first time somebody tossed the house. So something happened to make them search the house.
Yeah, there was an alarm, and Randall had to go home.
Yeah. She tells him the alarm went off, and he went into the house.
I bet I know. Okay. I bet I know what it is too. This is the first time the delivery girl doesn't get shot by what's his name's people, and so is instead caught by the other 2. So she probably also tells them there's another package that went to Jennifer's house. That's probably why it's the first time that the house gets tossed, because they're there. And we know they're the ones that toss the house because they take Randall.
Mm-hmm. Fuck Randall.
For real.
Lay your hands on your wife, dude. Fuck you.
She's at the bar. This time it's Eddie that comes to get her. She says, "You're supposed to be at work." He says, "I was really worried about you, with the whole IA meeting."
Did she have her meeting with IA at this point, or is she still waiting to have the meeting with IA?
No, she did because she tells him. She tells him they know everything. They have pictures. They have.
I was bothered. I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm trying to keep track of them in my head. So right now, I assume it's like 10 o'clock in the morning when he was like talking to his sister, and it cuts to her. I'm like, Why is she drinking before meeting with IA? They'll smell the alcohol on her.
Right?
No, she's already had it.
Okay.
I do have a question for Darnell, since he is a
Yeah.
police officer. How would she? Okay, since she works in narcotics, wouldn't
Mhm.
she know that because she works closely with drug informant or confidants or whatever, that they would eventually know that she is supplying somebody with money, and that her bank accounts would be searched, or at least
M-
have a paper
maybe
trail?
maybe now, like 2025, but back in '05, a lot of people were getting, a lot of detectives and people who were dealing with that type of stuff was getting away with a lot of things, and they think again, they think like a criminal. I'm never going to get caught, or like an addict. I'm not, or if I just lie, I'll get away. If I keep telling myself I'm never going to get caught, I'll get away with it. So it's possible that also she had no idea back in '05. Absolutely.
There were less movies, telling exactly what the process was, so people knew how to
Yeah.
get away with things.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
yeah,
know. I
I
know
know
I would
that's
have questioned something like this.
a lot of people. That's a lot of the whole like all cops are corrupt comes from stuff like this because they were getting away with it. There were a lot of cops that were doing it, getting away with it, and over the past
Ah.
few decades, it's gone away because like there's been a lot more accountability, which I like. I'm absolutely I like it, but at the same time, there's some things that needs to be done. That accountability prevents a cop from doing a certain job. Not saying they should be committing, felonies, but there are certain things that cops are expected can't be done now because there's so much accountability and so much Big Brother watching. You can't do those things anymore.
The pendulum will
To
s- the pendulum will swing back, and like with all things, it'll keep swinging back and forth until
Yeah.
it finally finds the middle. They have an argument. He accuses her of taking Hopper's side in everything. She finally asks him if he's using again. He says that's a thought that Hopper put there. And then he
typical
basically
addict.
like walks off on her.
This man
Yeah,
is so
and his
insecure that 10 words from Hopper changed the entire timeline of the day.
But again, an addict is like that. Like my brother was a fucking a horrible addict. Just like one word out of my mouth was sending him on a fucking spiral and blaming the whole world for everything.
I'm not saying it's unrealistic.
Okay.
yeah, his like the actor's acting here is really solid because earlier, when he first wakes up, like he's not thrilled to hear that Andrea was talking
Mm-hmm.
to Brett. It wasn't that bad. You could just tell that he was uncomfortable with it. He was a bit
Yeah.
aggravated. This scene though, he's basically twitching. Like his speech pattern has
You caught that?
has sped up.
Yeah, I thought
He's
they
more
meant him to be high in the
irritable.
scene.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if do they mean for him to be high in the scene right now, or is
I
it just
think
that
he's.
because of the stress of the day, he is just jonesing bad?
Probably meant to be
I
ambiguous.
I think it had nothing to do with the stress. I think just like he's an addict. He was just he's because addicts when they start to come down, they get like that, exactly like that. They need that fix, and he was coming down off of whatever he was on.
He's
Yeah, and
very
needs that
subtly
fix.
turning up the paranoia.
That
Yeah,
100% an addict.
yeah, he I think it turns. I mean, the suggestion is strongly made that Hopper is right and he is using again. It's sort of a question as to, well, was he using and Hopper's call over
Well,
the edge,
he knows this
or
because in a previous day she mentions he's using again.
well, she
Maybe
said
that's
he
the
showed
two.
up. He showed up and he was tweaking, but
Yeah.
we
And-
don't know. Because she says he hits 30 days and then I'm back in Slim's parking lot.
We already know
Um,
she lied about him showing up out of the blue, so was she lying about the other thing? Who knows?
I feel like she was lying about whether or not it was self-defense. Like, I don't know. Her story just didn't add up, and she didn't even sound sure of her own story.
That's why I'm thinking she's either corrupt or involved in some way, or she's just that stupid of a fucking person.
At
That-
this point, I think she's just that. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't think there's any point where there's any suggestion that she tries to hurt Eddie. But he's pretty crazy at the end of all 3 cycles that he's in.
But she's not
so.
consistent with the things she's saying and caught in lies.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
I mean,
think she
we
needs
we know that she lies repeatedly. That's why she's involved with IA in the first place. She spent all this time trying to protect Eddie, and then got herself in trouble, and so now she's trying to protect herself and Eddie. And Yeah, she's not there's no question that she's not making good decisions. So she calls Hopper and says, hey, uh, things are not great. Eddie's going over the edge. Your call did this. And he says, yeah, I'm going to have to call you back because he's just walked in the house and realized that somebody tossed his sister's house.
Which,
And
by
so
the way,
she,
he could have said something. He could have said, hey, I just walked into a crime scene. This will have to wait, because then it would let her know, hey, something important is going on. Instead, he's just like, I'll call you back, hang up. He explains nothing ever, but he wants everyone to trust him always.
well, he's still mad at her. He says, I tried to help you this morning. Tells her in the morning, like, you're on your own.
But the fact, I'm going to agree with Cindy here. She's his partner. He should have said something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like my sister's like, shit, something happening in my sister's house. They were here or something. He should have said something to her.
I think in the case of being in a time loop where everything resets, losing patience with small talk and explanations is a perfectly reasonable thing for a character to do.
Except he never explains, Killo, ever in any episode. He always waits until the last minute, or it's really necessary because somebody is going to die.
That's fair.
And I'm going to go back to the fact that he's a fucking detective. A detective would have said something to his partner.
I agree with the partner part. As far as the rest of it that goes, though, again, this might just be experience, but most of the law enforcement I know are really close-lipped.
Like
they're just not used to talking to anybody.
To the point of detrimenting their own life?
Yeah, yes,
absolutely.
Because it's almost like being with a narcissist. If you show any weakness to a narcissist, they will use that against you. And again, that's something that there's a lot of backstabbing in that, because you never know if that person's gonna turn on you. And again, the culture's going away from that, thankfully. But that was a big thing. Like, you didn't trust anybody except your partner, and which brought you back to, if you had a partner, there's a good chance you and that partner were doing stuff with each other because you trusted this person almost as much as you trust your spouse, or more than you trust your spouse.
Darnell, did you ever watch Flashpoint?
I was gonna reference Flashpoint earlier tonight because this makes me think of Flashpoint.
So the reason I loved Flashpoint because in the first episode came out at a point where there was this like macho police thing, and the sniper almost kills a kid by accident, and everyone is congratulating him on like what a great shot it was and how cool it was, and how he's the man, and he can't ever tell anyone, I'm having panic attacks because I almost shot a kid.
That's why one reason alcoholism.
By the fourth season, someone else has to take that same kind of shot. And they come up and they say, are you okay? And he says, yeah, I'm fine. And he says, you may feel that way now, but tomorrow you're not going to. And we're going to have somebody check in with you every day for the next week. And like, it really mirrored the change in the actual culture in that time period.
Yep.
That it really did in real life go from, yeah, everyone has to be macho. You can't ever admit that you're having mental health issues. You can't admit that you're stressed out. You have to be cool about everything. You can't talk about anything. To like, don't go blow your brains out.
That's one reason law enforcement tend to get into alcoholism very heavily, because there's a lot of shit. It applies to the military as well. Now I got buddies who served in Afghanistan. We'll meet and hang out, and we're like, you get where I'm coming from because you've been in this situation, and you can't talk to people other than except people who's actually been in that exact situation. So yeah.
But that's probably too why you end up with so many, affairs between partners, because like they're the only person that's going to understand me. So they have a fight. Basically, he says, maybe your husband's involved, and she says, look, he's missing. The house has been tossed, and all you can do is say that, maybe it's his fault. And
an explanation would help so much right here.
Well, and then she says, you're so, like, you haven't talked. And he says, look, I don't have time for the perfect family. And she says, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be there. And that's the reason you have so much trouble with mom. You're just like dad. Hinting at this, We've
Yeah,
heard
that
about
he
this kind of
has-
weird family relationship
Yeah.
again. But again,
which
this
if he
is
would
not.
explain, which
But
is what
again-
she's asking him to do.
But this is not unrealistic. That's why the divorce rate is so high in police officers, because they don't talk to anybody about
Yet
anything.
he's seeing the consequence of not saying what's going on more than he is seeing the consequence of telling the person what's going on. He doesn't have to tell the whole truth. He could just say, hey, I think there's something wrong with the case that I'm working on. I think there's people after me, and I think they found your house. He could have said anything, and he chose to say nothing but to attack his sister. And it's the choice that he makes every single time without fail. You see no character growth in that regard.
I don't blame it.
Character.
I mean, it's only been a day.
But for him, it's been 6 days. I blame the writers. For
It's a joke. Yes.
Well,
No.
okay.
Except I don't
Gotcha.
think it's fair. He's obviously been a police officer for a long time. He grew up with a father who was a police officer, who was also very tight-lipped. I think it is very realistic that this would be the pattern of behavior, and you can't overcome that.
If he was in a normal situation, I would agree.
You cannot overcome that in 6 days.
Fair enough. But
yet you're seeing
backing her
people
up,
die back
this is 6
like
days.
every day.
of reliving the day, for him it's 5 or 6 days. I agree with you. Where you're saying you can't rewrite that person in their brain, but we've seen him make that smart choice at least once. Start to explain something to somebody,
And
when
it
he
didn't,
realized,
and it didn't work well.
but it did make a change. Like when the girlfriend says, "Is there something wrong?" He said, "No." Yes, and he went to explain it to her. He could have said something like Cindy said, something like, "Hey, yeah, something's going, it's happening. Get safe, or get the kids and get safe." He could have said something.
He has
Yeah,
slowly
it's just
opened up
been
to
like-
Rita, who is his girlfriend, who he's seen for a while. He's having more trouble
What?
with his sister, who he's not talked to in 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're right,
Yeah,
he
I think
doesn't
that's-
explain the case, but he does start to explain Randall talking about bruises that he hasn't even seen because he hasn't lifted her sleeve yet.
Which
Well,
is the
he
most
says-
confrontational thing he has could do, which is the worst way to go about it, because he, like I said something. Say, hey, I'm in a bad case. It looks like it's now leaking into your life. Get yourself safe. Get your kids safe. He said nothing.
His default state is this very paternalistic character with like a savior complex. He has to do everything, and he has to do it all by himself. He can't let anyone
Which
else
he could
even know
still-
about it.
So a
But he
police
could
officer.
still
I'm not
do
saying it's
that.
rational.
Yes,
I'm saying it's very
yes.
irrational.
Police officer, but that's how cops are. That's how cops are portrayed, and that's how cops are expected to be.
Yeah, I mean that is how police officers. Police officers eat a bullet the day
Police
they
officers
fail,
don't go
they
through
fail
this
on-
day
they-
after day.
but they do.
No, they don't repeat
It's
the
not-
same day and then
Oh,
watch the
that-
people they love die.
What are you, a cop?
repeatedly.
True.
They don't.
Very true.
They don't repeat the same day, but in areas with violent crimes, they see people die regularly, and they swallow that. They don't
Yes,
talk to
but
their
you're-
loved ones about it.
You're talking about real life right here. I'm saying that he is going through an event that is paranormal that
You're
should
saying it's-
have taught him something like, hey, I need to explain a little bit because a
I
little
agree,
bit
100%.
goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your complaint is it's unrealistic, and I'm saying it's actually,
Because
if
people
anything,
would learn.
not in 6 days.
Yes, they would. They would see people dying that they love. They would learn, hey, if I say something, something will change. There's a better chance that they'll survive if I proactively say something.
I have to
Except
back
it-
Sandy here on this, 100%.
Except it hasn't worked. He has said stuff, and it has not
He
worked.
explained too much, so when he explained vaguely, it worked in his favor. He has every opportunity right here to explain vaguely, but still get his point across that, hey, your family is in danger. You yourself are in danger. Why? Because of a case that I am working on.
My biggest problem with this scene is that we the scene plays out, and then we kind of find out that Jennifer kind of knew something was up anyway, or like she knew about the package, and even on the ride to the house, he's like, I believe he asks about a package, she denies it, and then he's like, where's Randall? And she says, oh, he left work early because the security alarm went off, but then she also mentions, but I can't get a hold of him, I believe. And later
Well,
in
she
the
says
scene.
she can't get a hold of him while they're driving. He says, "I'm going to come get you."
Yes.
She's trying to reach Randall in the truck and can't
Yes.
reach him.
Okay, but either way, right? Like, we find out at the end of the scene she has the package, and it was specifically stated not to tell anyone, or something bad would happen. And you're driving to your house. You know that the package is there. The alarm to your house went off. Husband went to check the day after you get a mysterious package, and she didn't seem that concerned about it on the car ride over.
Oh, was that security alarm meant to
Yeah.
be for their house? I
To
didn't
their
put that
house. That
together.
is my point. Like,
I didn't put that together because they were
she
so
didn't
casual about it.
she didn't
Yes.
seem concerned, considering, like I said, mysterious package, threatening note. The next morning, an alarm goes off at my house, and I can't reach my husband. And she is so fucking casual about it.
My response
They're
to that
both
was, "Oh, there must
stupid.
be something weird going on at Randall's work. The security
What-
alarm went off."
What's also weird is when Brett says, "Oh, then the package they must know about the package. The package must be here," and she still doesn't reveal that she knows about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is what I mean.
I don't want to like
Maybe-
skip ahead with the scene, but it basically takes Brett putting a gun to her husband's head for her to be like, "Oh no, I have the package," and I
Right.
just don't know
Which-
why she doesn't mention it, because we go ahead.
Because we learned that this is a family trait as well as a police trait.
Yeah, like there's
I don't
seriously
know.
some issues.
It's a Hollywood
but
thing. They don't write smart. They write stupid.
I think it's mostly from
Yes.
previous loops, but I also thought that she doesn't seem to trust Hooper very much.
She doesn't at all.
Well, that,
even in
that's still.
I think there's even.
She.
Oh, I was gonna say that I think there's even like implications that Brett has like a messed up past, because when he ends up in the hospital, right, and they slap the cuffs on him, Rita looks concerned, like, what the hell is going on? Jennifer looks disappointed, as if like, what did you do again? As if like maybe before he became a cop he had like some rough background, but it seems like she knows. She's his sister, she knows, and it seems like he's done stuff in his past to make her not really trust him that much, or to be disappointed when he fucks up like that. But
well, we found
still,
out he says you turn mom against me all the time.
Okay. Yes.
which kind of
okay,
sounds
hold
like
on.
Eddie.
Wait.
Does he not sound like
This whole
Eddie in that
scene-
line?
This whole scene makes no sense. Okay, she's turning on him like that. Krovax is right. She's choosing to attack her brother while they're going through the house. When her husband is missing, who starts bringing that up? Why is she not more concerned about her husband? Why would she not tell him things that are happening? Like, hey, I got a crazy photo.
This is
Cinevere,
my
I've
point.
come to the realization. Have you never met women?
Yeah, I met women. They would start crying in that situation. They would spill what's going on. Hey, this could be tied to a letter I got in the mail that had a picture of a woman dead. Am I going to die? Is my family in danger? Do I have to worry about my kids? Yes, I've met women. They'd be worried about their kids in this situation.
Every woman I know would absolutely start screaming about something else entirely unrelated.
Not
The
when
worst
your
thing about
house
women
gets
is
tossed.
determining
not
a
when your
normal
husband is
fine
missing.
from a my
No.
family's being held hostage fine. It's really hard to narrow down that difference.
But the thing that bothers me too, and like this scene, I feel like she doesn't tell Brett about the package because this scene needed to happen, which it didn't need to happen. It's a
Yes.
stupid scene. This
Yes.
entire argument feels it feels
Hey, guys,
like
we
we
have
conjured.
been on this scene for a very long time, and we've only got like a half hour, and we have half the show to go. So
Great. Okay.
I
So
do-
you know what?
I do want to mention really quickly, because again, I can't land on the snapshot. He says, "I know about the bruises," and she said, "You don't understand." And then they get distracted by the car, and he walks out and shoots a couple guys.
Never come
Which,
to
by
my
the way-
daughter's birthday.
But this entire argument just seems like it's conjured up out of nowhere because they wanted to reference Brett's father in this scene, so that when it comes up, when he's brought up later in another scene,
Except it's
it
not.
feels a bit more.
Except it's not, because you're the one that said that Chad was a complete dick because he proceeds to make comments about how fucked up their family is.
By the way,
In
I
an
will
earlier-
point out here that with the husband's behavior, that wife is getting the shit beat out of her because
Oh, yeah.
she could have saved him much sooner, and he's going to take exception to that.
Yeah. And the thing I don't get here is that, gun to his head, she finally says, "I have the package." And then we learn that the 6 missed calls from his sister were about the package. So last night or yesterday, whenever it was that she got this package, she spam calls him 6 times to let him know about the package. And then today when she sees him, she just feels no fucking need to bring it up. No
Well,
need.
he is acting kind of insane.
Which would also mean that
again,
she was not
like
calling
Eraser
him
said.
afraid of Randall.
Wait a minute.
It
Acting
doesn't make
strange.
sense.
Her husband just got kidnapped. 2 men were shot on, like, in front of her house. Her house got ransacked. I think she should say something.
Yeah, her
Yeah,
brother
and
just killed 2 men in cold blood.
But it's just so weird because it seems like yesterday when she called him 6 times, she had full intention of telling him about the package. And now, like, it seems like, oh, like, you ignored my 6 calls. Now I'm just not going to tell you about it out of spite.
Yeah.
When it's like, dude.
Eraser, have you met women?
Oh, man.
I had to. I'm sorry. I had to.
You know what, though? Not, like.
No, I get what you're saying.
I blame the writers. I don't even blame women. I've met women smarter than this. Like, believe
Oh
me.
yeah.
I have, but I have also met women this dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen,
I'm
man,
with
some
writers.
people are like heart of gold, brain of jelly, and most of the characters are brain of jelly at the moment.
This this guy makes a comment about, I knew this was going to happen, while Hopper is, for his notes to try and memorize everything. So he obviously does need to do some memorization.
Yes.
And he says, "How did you know it was going to happen?" And the guy says, "Because the Dodgers rule." And he's like, "Aw, here I thought maybe I wasn't alone."
I was hoping it goes from with that.
Oh, right. Like in Groundhog Day, where the bartender also goes in the loop.
So he's busy trying to find out about the case number on this picture. Discovers that Internal Affairs has pulled the case and cannot find out who it is that pulled it. So he calls Rita, and he,
whose phone is charged, by the way.
Does all the lovey-dovey. Well, that's what I said. I think there's a spot where we actually see her charge her phone.
That'd be stupid.
And he says, I know that Chad, I need to speak to him, and it's very, very important. And she's like, it's for you? So he says, I need to know who pulled this book. And he said, oh, what's he say? Typical Hopper.
Subject of a citywide manhunt and still all me.
Yeah. And basically he says, I'm trying to prove my innocence. He says, well, you should just come down to the station then.
Which, I don't know. I don't think he should have reacted that way. Chad, I mean, when he explained to him, like, hey, I'm trying to prove my innocence. IA is given a bad rap in movies and TV. It always seems like we're here just to catch everybody. IA is not really like that. They really do care about finding the truth.
I can't remember if it's this episode or the next one, but Hopper asks him at one point, why are you messing with me? And he said, because I don't like you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Chad is just in glee seeing Hopper in trouble.
Yeah, he's personally messing with him, not professionally messing with him.
Gotcha.
So he gets another call. He thinks it's Andrea because it's her phone, and instead it's Eddie's voice saying, like, you turned her against me, this is on you. He hears Andrea screaming, there's gunshots. He goes over to the house. He sees a body getting wheeled out. Thinks it's her initially, but then he sees her being let out in cuffs. And I think she sees him here. And it doesn't say anything.
Hard to say.
So she's hauled off, and we go into day 3. I think that day 2 was one of the longest single days we've had in the series so far.
Episode 2 was a pretty long one day.
Is anyone having an issue with the fact that what's his face drives that fucking Fast and Furious car?
Eddie?
Yeah. It doesn't fit his personality.
No. Well,
the
it
actor.
might actually. It might.
I mean, just what they've showed us so far, it doesn't fit.
I had a much bigger
That's
issue with
fair.
the fact that Hopper drives this enormous truck in a place where it would be miserable to park.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that was a cool truck back then. Remember?
The Avalanche, yeah, it was a big deal. 05.
So they basically have the same conversation all over again. Except this time he says, I think something bad's going to happen. He finds the GPS tracker this time and proceeds to, I think, throw it on a dump
Randall
truck.
mentioned it, yeah.
He
puts
throws
it
it
in the
in the
garbage.
trash can, and
Which
then the
is
trash
taken by
truck.
the dump truck, yeah. So this time he doesn't have to jump any curbs in order to get away from them. So he goes over to her house this time because he's like, let's get more serious. Like, a phone call is not going to cut it. And he finds out that Eddie is actually there. And so this is where he says, you're on your own. It wasn't the last rotation. It's this time he says, you're on your own.
Well, no, he said it last time, but he repeats it here.
And so this is where he accuses Hopper of, you're the one that called in the drug test. And Hopper's like, not what happened. She basically gets shut out completely while the two have their, dick measuring contest here. Eddie in his face, and he doesn't do anything. He just says, you're on your own. Basically he's like, I tried, I'm writing it off. And he leaves.
But again, isn't this another situation of him giving her very little information of just
yes.
Hey, I kind of think he's using, be careful. And then he does the whole thing where he puts his finger in her face and he's like, you're on your own, I'm done with you. Conveniently forgetting that an episode or two ago in one of the loops, she fucking died for you. And now you're getting your balls twisted that she's screwing someone and she didn't tell you about it. It seems a bit much.
It's boyfriend behavior.
It does.
I think he feels bad though because he then abandons his whole mission to go back and help her.
Also infuriating, but we'll get to that.
So he basically just goes straight to Jennifer's house. Takes the package. Sits down at the same bar, but much earlier in the day. Calls Chad.
Because it's still shot like it's nighttime.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's much brighter in here.
It feels like nighttime. It feels nighttime.
Yeah, I don't see it brighter.
We've
discussed just a doorway.
We've discussed that every time Andrew is in the bar too. That it always feels kind of night-ish, even though it's daytime out.
Which a bar will do that. It's similar to casinos. They'll do it so you don't know how long you've been there, and you just think, "Oh, I just got here."
Yeah. I think this is a bar, though. I mean, it looks like a bar.
Yeah.
They're serving wine.
They're serving wine at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's definitely a bar. So he tries calling Chad this time, figuring, well, he won't know that, I'm up for murder. And Chad's like, why are you, we're supposed to meet at 3 o'clock. And he said, I need some information about this book. And Chad looks really pissed, puts the phone down for a minute, and then says, what else would you like to do? You want me to walk your dog? You want me to wash your car?
My ex-wife?
You're asking me to... Yeah, you want to fuck my ex-wife? Oh, wait a minute. And again, in this scene, I kind of was like, oh, I kind of understand why Chad is such a dick to him. He still believes at this point that he and Rita were sleeping around behind his back while they were partners. Because they've only once conversation, it never happened.
And it's like in episode 1.
Yeah.
Right,
and yet
exactly.
he's still holding out hope that Chad is going to be civil and tell him something that he wants to know.
True. I mean, he doesn't really have anywhere else to go at this point. It's not like he's buddies with everyone in internal affairs.
Yeah, but he hasn't exhausted all his options. He could have picked the 2 cops that seem a lot more reasonable than Chad does. He could have asked anybody in the office, more people than just those 3. You know, I just feel like something could have happened. Or how come the chick, like, he shouldn't have burned the bridge with the chick then, because he could have asked her to look into it, despite her being studied by the internal affairs, because she's still able to get information while on the phone over a what is it, a case number.
You talk about Andrea?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I was
My
like, there
assumption
are,
was you needed someone in IA information because that's how the show kind of treats it.
well, and because he says, internal affairs files are confidential, which means only someone in internal affairs would have access to that information.
So I guess this bar just doesn't have bouncers. That this guy just throws wine at the
Well,
at the waitress,
how
and
often
nothing
would you
happens.
how
It's a
often would you
classy
think
place.
you need how often would you think you need a bouncer at 10 in the morning?
Yeah, but you know what?
It's
In the
LA.
scene, but in the scene where the guy throws the wine at her, you actually see that there's a bartender, a male bartender, pouring drinks behind the bar, and that he sees the. So like, even if there's not a bouncer there, like the fucking bartender doesn't say anything. It's
She's
just
just there for the joke that we heard earlier.
no. I
Mr.
I
Day's
know,
not as
but
Why
good
would
as
you need a
bad as
bouncer? No one lives in
mine.
this city.
The
Hey,
bartender
hey,
sees it and
let's-
goes, just a Tuesday.
So
she wanted equal rights. He obliged.
he gets another call. It's the voice from the guy in the gravel pit, aka Mike from Breaking Bad.
But I call him, yeah, Mike,
This-
because he doesn't have a name.
I see him from a Community.
This actor is awesome. I love it. I wish he'd had a bigger role in this.
He was in Community? I haven't gotten
Yeah.
that far. I only
The
seen
last-
season 1.
The last 2 or 3 seasons he was in it.
Ah, okay.
So they basically say we want the
Every
package.
season.
And they tell him, bring us everything to this location, or we're gonna hurt the people you care about. And he says, if it looks like a trap, I'm walking. And he says, like you have a choice. Like, you don't really have any other options except to do what we say. So he goes there, he's scoping the place out. And this is why I said I think he felt bad because she is his partner. Because she calls, says, I need help and only you can help me. And he gives up the chance, he thinks, to fix this whole thing. And goes and helps her instead.
So aggravating.
It's because he flashes back to when she protected in the gunfight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's crying. He doesn't know what's going on. Like, she's crying. He has no idea what's happened. And then when he meets her, they just sit down and have coffee. So, like, it definitely was not time sensitive. She just was freaking out.
So when does she get questioned by IA? Because in like the first 2 episodes, she's always getting questioned by IA around that point. So what happened? Because the investigation, no matter what, should have still been going on. Like, she still should have been questioned.
It's getting very hard to keep track of the events of the day as the show goes on.
She gets called in first thing in the morning.
Right. And
then
first thing in the morning, she's with Eddie.
Right. And she goes from there to the IA appointment.
I took
bar.
that as Ben just like rushed to her house before she got to the office.
Yeah.
Well, just win, because she's at a bar drinking. At what point? I feel like they need to establish better rules to their story,
Timeline rules,
or
yeah.
at least a time, like at least so we could see the time, because I don't feel like it's all being like they're all cramming it into one morning, and it makes no sense. It's what's like
in the original timeline. He's out of the house by 6:30. He's probably arrested by 7. He's probably getting printed by 7:30, and she's coming in for her IA meeting at 7:30 ish.
That's really crammed, because she still has time to talk to Eddie and all this before going. Like, she consistently wakes up next to Eddie. I don't know. I feel like
he
that's
consistently
a huge
wakes up
plot
next
hole.
to Rita.
Yes, but I mean, like, that doesn't make any sense. The time frame makes no sense.
This is what I was telling you, that by this episode, it felt like there was so much they added into the show.
But see, I don't. This one, I'm very, very much gonna like. The others had think it were valid. This one, I really think is not, because he wakes up at 6:17. He bandages himself. Whoops! Shoot! Bang! I'm sorry. He bandages himself, gets dressed, and is out the door. Let's say it takes him until 7 o'clock. He goes straight to his apartment. He gets arrested. So let's say we're looking at 8:30 or 9 o'clock when he gets fingerprinted. I mean, we've seen how fast her discussion with AI goes.
Which makes no sense, because that should take a couple of hours.
Why? He basically
Why
just...
not? They have a lot of information.
Yeah, she digs herself a hole incredibly fast. He proves to her she's dug a hole, and then he gets called out because he has to deal with the Hopper situation, and they want her to turn on him pretty much immediately.
Which, how did they have that conversation? It happened so fast. Like Darnell said, they just put in so much new information that they're forgetting the old information, and you're leaving very massive plot holes.
I don't think they are. I think you're making this more complicated than it needs to be.
Well, I mean, do you think maybe you're kind of have a skewed view on it because you really, really like it?
I mean, I do like the show, but there is a difference between shows I like and shows that are good. There are plenty of shows I don't like. And I will say this show has its issues. I just happen to like it.
Overall, I do like it. Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
But I have spent a lot of time like hyper analyzing the morning events but I think she's in the bar earlier than I would normally expect a cop to be in a bar.
The only thing to kind of like make it make sense in my head, what you're saying with you, that every reboot of the day, the events are so fucking changed from the day before because of the day before's actions, is why they're not happening in the same order.
Right,
but time.
But what does happen at the same as her appointment with Internal Affairs, which is what she was asking about. And her appointment with Internal Affairs is somewhere between like 7:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning. So there's still plenty of time, even if it's 2 hours. I mean, if that's a bar that's near the police station, 11 o'clock is still quite reasonable for her to be sitting at the bar having a drink after her Internal Affairs investigation.
True.
I mean, I think, too, there are assumptions about how much you can get done in a short period of time. I mean, people are consistently weirded by how much I have done by 9 o'clock in the morning. And I think it's just about whether or not you're hustling. And, of course, everyone here is running on adrenaline, so everyone's hustling.
Well, at this point, isn't it like 2 in the afternoon when the Shadow Man dude calls him and says to meet him at Elysian Park? I think he gives him a timestamp and says be there at 2. So if she's calling from the bar, it's got to be around 2 o'clock. So it makes sense for her to be there. I guess, like at that point, there would be enough time for her to have the investigation and then go drink her ass off.
Well, and she's had time to have a fight with Eddie in this point too. So she says, you know, he went and got his gun. He's going to do something stupid. I'm afraid he's going to die. And she basically says, like, you don't choose who you fall in love with. I know this whole situation did, but, like, I don't know what else to do. And they basically, he says, who's he score from? And she says, whatever the guy's actually is. And then he says, Slim? He's like, you're CI? And she's like, yeah. I was very amused by there's a lot more bounce than bouncer in this place. And she says, yeah, something's wrong. None of his guys are on the floor. So they listen at the back door and they can hear Slim, you know, sending out directions for somebody to get found. There's a standoff. He looks like Slim has been injured. And we find out that, in fact, Eddie's been using Right Along and that she's been enabling him and paying him off so that they didn't kill Eddie for racking up his drug bill. He said, you know, he got used to taking home free samples, but, you know, he's an ex-cop now, so he's not useful to us, so he's got to pay. And Hopper did not know anything about this, obviously. But he says, where do we find him? And he says he's on foot somewhere in this area. Chinatown's not very big. You better hope that we find him before you do. And he says, you better hope that we find him first too. And they're trying to figure out where he's going to be. And Hopper kind of has a flashback to the car, and he says, I know about what area he's going to be in. Oh yeah, they have a whole long discussion about him chewing her out about what are you doing. But he decides to continue helping her, and he kind of right act. He says, like, I had a chance to, like, make things better and go away and clear my name, and I came to help you instead, and, like, this is what happens. So
I had a chance to end the story, but we got on for 13 episodes and not 4.
So they find the car. They're looking around. She goes in to check, and then there's a gunshot. He goes in, gun drawn. Eddie is really messed up. He ends up taking Andrea hostage. He basically says, I can't drop the gun. You don't want this to happen. Like, you want people to get hurt. And then he tells this story about, patting this drug dealer down and missing the fact that he had a gun and that he could have, shot them at any point. His acting here is great. Like, the fact that he manages to obviously, like, be tearing up but never actually, like, drop the tear was just so good, I thought.
This might be my favorite scene in the show so far.
And he says, I should be dead, and you should be dead, and we all should be dead because of me, because I was high. And he lets Andrea go, and then he puts a gun to his own head, which apparently is going to be a few seconds away. But it's interesting, though. He tells Hopper, he's like, you just need to shut up and listen to me for a minute. So he lets her go, puts the gun to his head, and Hopper says, like, I didn't call in the drug test, but I also didn't tell you it was coming down, so let me help you now. Like, I didn't help you then. It was wrong. I was your partner. I should have had your back. Like, please let me help you. And at this point, he's totally fallen apart. And he finally just kind of breaks down crying, and Hopper takes the gun away from him and, like, gives him a hug. But a bro hug. Like,
they're partners, but not like that.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Then again, Darnell might beg to differ about partners from what you discussed earlier.
And so we fade from looking at her face to looking at the water. Clock changes over again, and she wakes up and looks at Eddie, who's still sleeping, and then gets this thoughtful look. He once again gets up, stitches himself up, gets his stuff, and then he's on his way out the door, and the phone rings. And he confuses the shit out of Rita here by going, but the phone's never rung before. And she's like, nobody's ever called you? What?
Ray made of paper mache.
And she says, she's like, I know this is out of the blue. Hysterical because it's not for him. And she said, but I'm taking Eddie to rehab this morning. And she's like, I have so much to tell you. And she's like, I just woke up today and it just felt different. I felt different.
I have no idea what to make of this.
Me neither.
Really?
It's starting to change her.
If you've played like a roguelike where you would unlock some permanent upgrade if you get far enough in a run, it feels like that.
Yes.
So this
That's
is
actually a good one.
I mentioned in the first episode that there comes a point where you find out that, like, massive permanent changes get made if anything major enough occurs. And this is the first of those points where he begins to realize that he's modifying things, and that in this case it's modified, like, even between cycles. Like, it doesn't reset. And so somebody said earlier this episode, like about why things keep seeming to change in tiny ways, even when they're not directly related to him. And this is when he finds out that things are changing between cycles. It just depends on how major the change is and like what the impact was.
See, this might have some interesting consequences for the structure of the rest of the show, but it seems like it'll be really hard to explain at the end.
Not really, because they only do these really major changes a few times. Again, they're a
Still,
little.
how much
They're a
I
little.
like this is going to heavily depend on what the explanation is later.
And the funny thing is, that's one of the things I don't remember.
That bodes well.
I do like the concept of like having such an impact that it'll affect future loops. I don't know if I trust the writers enough to use it properly. It seems like it's gonna end up being, we've decided this was a big enough impact, so now this is gonna be different. Like, how are you going to structure or set like an example of like this has to happen, or like, something this important has to happen for this change to come about? Like, I think it's a cool concept. I just feel like the writers are going to pull stuff out of their ass and go, oh, well, this was important enough.
Yeah, it's arbitrary.
Who's to say him, saving the girl from the bus isn't, like, he saved a life. That's a pretty big change. And I mean, obviously, if he doesn't save her, she dies. But I'm saying, like, isn't that big enough that should affect other things as well? Like, how do the ripples work?
There are things like that happen.
I have noticed that him being arrested by SWAT has not been ignored in a very long time. The police seem to be very laissez-faire about getting him to come in lately.
Well, yeah. But like, there's also things like Rita. Well, I don't know, because Chad says at one point you're the like, there's a citywide manhunt for you. It's just they just haven't show it. They just haven't found him, because he keeps doing really weird stuff that like seems to have nothing to do with where they'd expect him to go. Like, why would they expect him to go to some like lawyer's house that has absolutely nothing to do with his life as far as they know?
I get it, but it also seems like they broke the door down to his house, and when he wasn't there, they just went, "Oh, okay, he's in the wind. Okay, we can't find him."
No. Again, episode 5 kind of brings that back around a whole bunch, but
okay, because
episode 5 may bring it back around, but I feel like in the last couple episodes it hasn't been much of it at all. It's just like, he's not here. Oops.
Yeah, like they didn't try tracking his phone. There's, I think, over 10,000 LAPD officers. Like, you never see a cop except for the one time they're driving crazy at night and the guy pulls them over. You never see a black and white anywhere, which is kind of odd.
I was wondering the rotation where he gets the package from Jen's house first thing. He ends up getting a call in the morning that says, "I hear you've been making calls." I wonder if they don't plant the gun in that rotation because he gets ahead of the things that they're
possible.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't quite. Again, there's a lot of things that
there's
a lot of things that go on that he doesn't see, so there's no way for us to know what exactly happened. But she basically wakes up, says, something's different, and he says, "So this was a good thing?" And she says, "Yeah." Like, Eddie's upset about being pushed out of the nest, but it's not going to be easy. But this is what needs to happen. And then she says that she's planning on going to internal affairs that morning and just telling Chad the truth. And if she gets suspended for some time, then that happens. And if she gets fired, she'll figure out what to do. But that at least she won't feel trapped anymore.
And there's also like a one-off line here I find pretty funny where she mentions, like, "Yeah, I'm going to be bringing my rep with."
She says, "I already called my rep and told him that was what I was going to do."
Yeah,
which is what they're supposed to do.
Didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, but she hasn't at any other point. Yeah.
I'm waiting for her to say, "I'm pregnant with your kid."
I know, right?
I'm waiting for that.
So he's in the back seat.
Wait, hold on a second. That's an important question. Hopper's, like, his physical state persists across loops because of the gunshot. If he gets someone pregnant, does his sperm stay in place and keep them pregnant in subsequent loops?
It keeps just appearing every day in her womb.
Oh my gosh, super strong.
Probably not, because most of his blood disappears from her sheets as he heals up every day. So the blood isn't staying. So
I need answers.
So Eddie, who I still want to call Richard, is in the back seat. Kind of looks over, sees the package from Jennifer's house. The picture has kind of spilled out onto the seat, and he says, like, "Is this some kind of joke? Or are you trying to remind me of when I was a good cop?" And he's like, "Wait, you know that picture?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was the first on the scene, and that's when I met your dad." And he said he never managed to close the case because evidence went missing. So presumably after they drop him off at rehab. He goes back and checks the package again, and this time he does not throw the hourglass at anybody. And he proceeds to pull it out very carefully with a pen and take a look, and discovers that there is a fingerprint on it.
I thought that the first time he found it. The first time he found it, I'm like, why did you touch it?
Yes.
It's like, hey, you decided to be a cop this time around.
Crazy pills.
Well, no, being a detective, going through a time loop, you would look at that hourglass and be like, hey, maybe that's connected to what's going on.
The first time.
Why would you break? What if it had, like, some significance? No!
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled about that whole thing last week. You know, I did mention during that scene that I think it seems like they're trying to set up that Brett has, like, anger issues, but that was not the scene to do it in, man. Like, that is evidence, and we all know it.
Well, except he thought it was going to be some surefire thing to explain everything that was happening.
Oh, so it's not the key to everything. Let me throw it away.
Yeah, but the cops are wanting it. He knows the cops want it. He knows how important it is. Why would you throw it? What if there was something important with the sand that's in that hourglass? I mean, there's so many reasons why he shouldn't have thrown it. Never have been the first impulse to throw it at a car that you find suspicious.
He does not know at that point that the cops want it. He doesn't find that out until the rotation or two after that.
What?
Okay, fair enough. But as a detective, which I've never been, I was just a piece of shit patrol officer.
I'm not disagreeing.
I do not to touch something like that.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying that I think that Eraser's right. I think that because remember, those first two rotations, he's really irrational because he doesn't understand what's happening.
The first two rotations, he finds out that the police are wanting the package that he has. So that he knows it. Yes, they do. Go back.
It's not the police
in episode
looking,
2.
It's the Shadow Man, isn't
No,
it?
No,
it's not the cops. But yeah, you're right. I get what you're getting at.
Either way, he should know, don't fucking touch this and throw it at somebody.
Well, he doesn't know at that point that it's related to a murder case.
But either way, thinking like a cop, I'm in day 3 or 4 of this loop, and this Shadow Man wants this fucking item. I'm gonna use a pen or dump it out and be gentle, not touch it, and look for clues on it.
Which, by the way, was the most convenient thumbprint I have ever seen.
I mean, I assume
show it off to the camera.
I assume and I assume that that's why it was the thing on which the entire case hinged, because they couldn't make it work otherwise. Okay, so Cindy still doesn't like the show. The people who were here last week, we didn't get ratings last week either, so let's go around, and if you weren't here last week, I just want to know what you thought of this episode on a 1 to 10, and if you were here last week, last episode, and this episode, please. Darnell.
I don't know if I could rate episode to episode, because it all just kind of like... I'm gonna go overall. If I was just some like Joe Schmo, I'd say a 5. Me, I like the show. I like the concept. This is right up my fucking alley. So I think the show is like an 8. But with the idiocy and the holes, I'm gonna say a 5. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, my headphones decided they didn't
I
want to
thought
turn
I
on.
offended everybody.
No. I just my headset decided it didn't want to like function for a second there. Sydney, does it ever make it above a 1?
Well, I would give it like a 2.5 or a, because I
Okay.
mean, at least they're trying. I feel that they're giving an effort. So I will give them an extra point.
Okay, that's good. That works. Jacob?
I thought last week's episode was better than this one, so I'm gonna give it a 4.
What was last week's?
You see, you don't even remember it.
Yeah, Hopper's weird about women episode.
It was better than last week's, but I don't remember what last week's was.
No, I'm saying you don't even remember it. You asked me what was last week's.
No. He didn't
Is
do.
that
We
bad?
didn't. No, I said we
Oh,
didn't do scales last
okay,
week, and so
okay.
I'm asking what
Oh,
you
I
thought last week's
apologize.
was.
Last week's was, to me, a 5.5, maybe.
Really, you liked last week's, but it was only a 5.5?
No, I liked last week's better than this one, but last week's I thought was the best episode so far.
So you don't like the show either, is what you're saying.
I, I think coming into it, I'm like, hey, this isn't too bad, and then everybody's giving their critiques, and it's like, oh wait, shit.
Okay, so from now on, I'm asking you what your opinion is before you start.
Okay.
Like, Jill?
Is Jacob actually talking?
Yes, he did.
I couldn't hear him for whatever reason. I don't know if it's a problem with Evie Mux or not, but if I ever stepped on you talking, Jacob, it's because I cannot hear you in this
no, I'm sorry.
space for whatever reason, which is really disturbing. But I'll go with the 7 out of 10 because I'm having fun and all the bad decisions from the characters actually don't bother me all that much. I'd say hindsight is 2020, but that doesn't really work for the
True.
show, does it?
Very true.
I agree with the Racerhead earlier that having things change if something major happens could lead to convenient script writing, and who decide? Well, the writers decide what is major, and so there's no actual rule book to say this is major enough to cause a shift. But I did enjoy the.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I did enjoy the expansion of what's happening to the other characters as we go along. And I was disappointed when you said that Jonathan Banks' role doesn't get bigger.
I just said I wished. I just said I wished he was in it more.
Okay, so we do get more of him, but it doesn't get too big. Overall, I'm enjoying the journey. But I wish I could hear Jacob. This is news to me that I can't hear him.
Yeah, I had meant to say when we were talking about that earlier, Andrea, for the first several rotations, screws Hopper over and over and over again. And yet the one time she gets shot for him changes his entire outlook, so he keeps trusting her and he keeps answering her calls. So even for him, having a really major episode changes him from rotation to rotation. And so her dying and Eddie not dying, I think are fair to say are pretty established major events. But,
so death is
or not, because like I said, Eddie doesn't die. It's the first rotation out of the 3 he doesn't die. Kilo?
I'm not going to give a numbered rating because I don't like them. But my opinion of the show thus far is that I do like it, but it is heavily dependent on how it's going to explain things later on down the line. Because there are a number of things I really like. I honestly do like the characters. They're very flawed. They are not smart people. But partly due to the actors doing a very good job, I think. I enjoy watching these characters play off each other, and I want to see more of them. And I just enjoy inherently as a part of media, so I like that aspect of it. There are many things I don't like. There are many things that don't make a lot of sense right now. We didn't really get a chance to talk about it through the discussion because we're looking at still images, but the editing is still atrocious. I think that's by far the worst part of the show for me. You didn't get to see it, chat, but every time they do a flashback, they do it in this very jarring, quick
Yes.
cut style, and they put so much not sepia, film grain on the images. It looks like you're stuck in a deep fat fryer.
Also a very common early 2000s thing.
Yes.
There's so
And
many.
it's too
Who did
bad.
we lose? Who did we lose?
Jill.
Yep.
Yeah.
She heard I liked it and she just clicked off.
She's like, fuck this shit.
What do you mean?
And honestly, fair enough,
She was
Jill.
the other. She was the other person who did like it. Yeah, there are several things I think that have bothered you guys that I just kind of look at and go, but all shows were like that then.
I don't care.
So there's a whole lot of like, there are things that bother me because I'm old.
Still, if a lot of these mystery boxes they're setting up turn out to have poor explanations, I'd probably rate this close to a 0, but I will reserve judgment.
It's 05, so it's likely right.
I mean, that's fair because like I enjoyed the beginning of Lost and then it totally failed to deliver, and it delivered so badly it went back in time and ruined all the early episodes for me.
Well, I think it's worth pointing out,
That's
and
me,
I,
kind
I,
of.
I could be wrong here, so maybe someone fact check me, but I believe the creator of this show was a writer for Lost, so that worries me.
I was thinking it sounded like a J.J. Abrams plot with all the mystery boxes.
Yeah, oh god. Like, dude, boxes when done well are beautiful. I just don't trust these writers to deliver. And I want the show to be good. I like it, but it's just too inconsistent for me to even say that it's a good show at this point. Like it's barely mid. There's some really good stuff here and there, but just like I said, so inconsistent. There's times where I feel that the acting is carrying everything. Like you said, Kilo, man, the editing and the directing are really, really bad. And I
Chat,
think
if you love close-ups, this is the show for you.
Yes.
and last week there was this big lack of shaky cam, so they actually did some semi decent stuff with the lighting and some stuff here, but it's even the stuff that's good is like it's basic, it's rudimentary, like it's not fucking
It it's
lighting
Whenever
or
they just
modern.
do a shot reverse shot, I'm like, thank
yeah,
goodness something normal.
It's
but
modern. It's modern day common.
it's just like I like the show and I want it to get better. I just don't know if it's going to.
Okay, I do have to say that the creator was not only a producer on Lost, he was a producer on like the worst season of Lost.
Oh,
Oh, producer. Okay, I thought he was a writer, and I was concerned.
No,
Producer,
producer.
it's whatever. There's
okay,
money bags.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's a producer for like weirdly like 33 episodes, which feels like it would be a season and a third or something.
Producers can sometimes influence the writing or the storytelling.
Yeah,
But
it's a shame, dude. Like I think the concept is cool. I just feel that like on smaller details they drop the ball so bad, and it's like a coin toss as to whether or not the characters are gonna just do stuff that is completely out of the blue for the sake of the plot, or if you might get lucky here and there and they might, kind of be based in reality for a couple of minutes or do logical things, but it's few and far between.
he did write a couple of episodes of Lost. He also wrote a whole lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., interestingly.
I hated that show too.
Yeah, I
What's
didn't like that
Agents
either.
of Shield?
It was like the first Marvel TV show they put out.
I've not even heard of it.
Once again,
it's okay.
we're old.
Like I remember liking some of it, but yeah, I didn't stand.
Yeah,
the
I
time.
only watched like the first season.
Yeah, me too.
I don't watch a lot of television, but yeah, he did not write a whole. Well, he wrote more of that than most things, but still not very many episodes. appears to have only written a couple of episodes of Lost, so. And Snowpiercer, whatever the heck that is.
Oh, the
The
show with the
movie was
train.
good. The
Yeah.
movie was good.
Yeah, Snowpiercer is actually kind of good.
Yeah.
I didn't see the show.
Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, the new one. Didn't watch that either.
2010. Marvel's Most Wanted. I have never heard of.
Most Wanted.
And Hellstrom, which I have never heard of.
Oh, that was another Marvel show. They were supposed to. They were like dipping their toe in the whole supernatural genre. For like they were trying to bring like they were trying to do like Doctor Strange. They were going like magic. They were going to magic angle. That's what they were. That's what Hellstrom was.
Huh.
They tried it out. People didn't watch it, so they pulled back from it. It was another comic from a Marvel.
So he's done a lot of comic book stuff, which really explains a whole lot about this show, really.
Explains that drive down the dirt embankment.
Nope. No, I'm telling you that the
That's
time this
normal.
was made, explains that.
Yeah.
Eraser.
Uh,
You haven't given us a number score for last time or this time.
oh
so.
god. Last week's episode, it had its flaws, but I thought it was actually the best of the season. Maybe I'd give it like a 6.5. This episode though, like 4, and that's me giving it a lot of credit because the acting is great, and especially in that last scene with Eddie, taking Andrea at gunpoint, like the acting is incredible. It's just there were entire scenes of this episode that didn't need to happen and only happened because characters were stupid. And like I said, I'm rooting for the show, but I can't excuse that. I can't defend that. I like the show, but I can't sit here and defend that it's a good show without making an ass out of myself.
So
That's why
that
it's better just to admit that you know it's bad, but you enjoy it anyway, and
I'll
that
admit
that's
still
what I was-
affects your score.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is I have admitted that like there are issues with the show as far as structurally, but that I still think it's an enjoyable show. I mean, if I was gonna rate it on details, so far, I mean, I like it better than you guys, so I would rate it a 7 because I don't think the issues are as big as you guys seem to. But again, it's because I remember when all of those things were being done. But in as far as being enjoyable, I would rate it like a 9. Because I think that we've kind of hit the point where we are so used to looking at everything in kind of EFAP style where individual scenes are picked apart and you're focusing on what is wrong with this individual shot as opposed to here are all the shots that were actually really fun.
Well, that's kind of the format of the show we're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm not saying
I-
that there is not fun parts in this show because there are, and I've even complimented the acting. I've even pointed
no,
out
I'm not-
scenes that I thought were good. But yes, we are going to pick that apart because this is what you want us to do. We go through it scene by scene.
We only go through it scene by scene because I'm not allowed to show it any other way.
Well, you were still going through it scene by scene. It's the format of the stream.
Not really how I intended it to be, but I see that I mean that is how most streams go these days, so I get that. But I also try really hard to like pick the things that are fun, and I think that's just kind of something that is not commonly done on streams these days. So I get that that's the habit. But I do think that there are a lot of movies that don't, like Thunderbolts, I thought got a lot more crap than it deserved because people were going through and picking out, well, this scene was terrible and therefore the whole movie is terrible.
I watched
Whereas
it a
I
few
was
times. Yeah,
whereas I said this scene was terrible, but the rest of the movie overall I thought was okay. I think we're losing the difference between enjoyable movies and good movies. This is not a great show. I think it's a good show, but it's not a great show. But I do think it's incredibly fun.
Yeah, it's a very fun
Yeah,
watch.
it is.
Like I said, like it's I enjoy watching it. The only episode that really bothered me was episode 2. It's like it's a very fun watch. Like I said, I don't know if I could sit here and like defend the statement that it's a good show. I do like watching it though.
Okay. Like I said, I
It's
I,
just
I am fully
it's
aware of the fact that I think it's I think that it's better quality than you guys do.
the
But
thing is like Kilo said, I think so much is going to depend on the how the show ends and how certain things are tied up
absolutely,
because
absolutely.
you know, I don't know, this might actually sound bad, but like I got someone I know to watch the first couple episodes and they said their biggest criticism was that the first 3 episodes they watched all just felt like pilot episodes, like they watched 3 pilot episodes and everything is just, you know, set up to something else and I like I said, I just don't trust these writers to deliver. You know, Carnival was like a slow burn. You know, there was mystery building up, but it was so well made that you were totally immersed with it and you trust the writers and the creators. I don't trust these guys. I
I think
simply don't.
I think we have already come to the conclusion that I made a terrible mistake showing you Carnival first because nothing will ever live up to Carnival.
It won't. It's brilliant. It's the like guys on the panel. Like if you get bored watching this, go watch Carnival. It's brilliant. Oh
It's
my
pretty
god.
good.
It's brilliant. Forget what Kilo said.
and then and then when Eraser calls you at some point and says, "Fucks."
Oh man.
Oh, good heavens!
Yeah, I can
All
second
right.
the Carnival
Well,
recommendation.
we are already over time, and I hope everybody has a chance to plug their stuff. So let's zip around the horn a bit. And Darnell, where are you gonna be?
Uh, tomorrow I have AI Dungeon with Killer Games Mike on Rumble or Killer Games Cast. I forget which one he goes by. Where we do the Panic Room. We do AI horror stories. Then after that on Rumble at my channel, on my channel, Two Sieves and a Pig, we do Two Sieves and a Pig, where myself, former law enforcement, and 2 civilians, we go over like body cam videos and talk about procedures and this and that. Lastly, check out my Rumble channel, official Sham Records. It's my AI generated music. Me and a buddy of mine, we write and we prompt AI music, and it shits out good music for us to post, and we post it.
Okay. Cindy, where are you at?
In about 45 minutes, I will be over on Zach's channel doing What's Good Wednesday, and we are talking about movies from 1986 as well as 1999 and comparing them and seeing who the winner is. For like 4 categories, it's going to be super fun. And afterward, I will be streaming with BMO's art, and we are playing Phoenix Wright.
Nice.
Nice.
Both of those are far
Yeah.
too past my bedtime, but I am definitely gonna catch Zach's show on the rewatch because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Kilo.
I will not be doing anything online, but on the subject of finding good stuff to be positive about, Goat, you should totally come see Weapons with me 2 weeks from now. I think that'll be really fun.
Yeah, I absolutely need to figure out how to manage that. Around
I am so excited for Weapons.
Oh God, yes.
around work schedules and critters. I definitely have got to figure out how to do that one because yeah, that's really interesting and I like the cast a lot. So
Great.
I see that so bad.
um,
Yes.
man, maybe you and Darnell should just get together.
Shit. That's my movie of the year. I've been looking forward to that for.
What if the
fucking months.
cop action in that movie is realistic, Darnell? What'll you
I
think
don't.
then?
I don't care. I don't.
Which
Or
movie
you
is
see high
this?
praise. Weapons.
I think-
Weapons. The kids all go. One class of kids all go missing in the middle of the night. They're running down the street like they're holding something's hands.
They're Naruto
What?
running, and it's really scary. Unironically.
Naruto.
Like all the ring cameras see the kids run out and they're like running with their hands out like they're holding onto like a demon's hand or something. They're all running like by themselves. So goosebumps.
It's got Josh Brolin in it. I'll pretty much watch most things that have him in it. So
I love the writer-director's previous movie, Barbarian. So
Yes.
I'm hyped.
I have not seen it. Should I watch it ahead of time just so I can be prepped for his style? Or
Yes,
or
you should
her
watch
style?
it with me. I think that'd be funny. We can maybe make that happen.
Okay, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Yeah. Tomorrow night I'll be on Room of the Empire's channel, and it's a free range, which we go over topics that have come up throughout the week in movies and TV shows. Then my show Tuesday, I'll be going over the movie, the Alfred Hitchcock movie Vertigo.
Oh, I'm there, right?
Uh, if you want to be, yeah, there's space for you if you want to be.
I think I remember putting it on my calendar,
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
but
right. I'm sorry.
I can't actually see my calendar while I'm doing
Okay.
all of this. So
Yeah, so
Jacob, you can come if you
and
want.
then I'll be here next week.
Jacob's like, I mean, I wasn't planning on you being there, but
I actually didn't put it on my calendar, so oopsie.
that's all right. I just need to make sure I get it watched. So, all right. Anything else going on for you?
Nope, that's about it.
All right. Eraser. Anything fun?
Not really. I mean, I mod around. I'll be at B-roll stage on Friday. I mod for Stupenzo whenever he's doing his thing. Lance at the Outcast Creatives. I've got dozens of wrenches, and I show up to maybe half of them. It is what it is. You'll see me somewhere floating around the internet. And yeah, I'll post a couple links, and I'm trying to find Darnell's Rumble link. So give me one.
I've got it right here. I'm putting it right here.
He says that, but I mean, I'm not sure I've ever seen Eraser offline, so I'm still totally convinced that he is actually one with the internet and in fact just never sleeps.
Can't tell my secret, man. Damn. Wait till I tell everyone you're not actually a goat. How does that make you feel?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Of course I'm a goat. Jill?
First, I want to apologize for dropping out unexpectedly. I just was so upset that I couldn't hear Jacob that I refreshed my page. And
Did it
worked.
work?
Yes.
Yay!
Good.
So I'm anti-derivative Jill, and yeah, that's just like the name of my channel. And I like to explore stories too, just like this stream just did. And usually sci-fi or fantasy, but sometimes I mix it up. And I stream live every Tuesday and Friday at 11 a.m. Central. And these Tuesdays are all about the Twilight Zone. Episodes per stream where we discuss the episodes, and Fridays is more of a variety where I cover like a random movie or a TV show. And this week I think I'm going to go to the classic UFO series, the British TV show with the moon ladies with the purple hair. And and if that doesn't last too long, I might talk about some pop culture news to wrap up the show. Then on Saturday, I'm going to play some Fallout, nuclear role playing game. I always struggle with that word. It's a fun game, and I have a big ass hammer.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm rapidly coming to the conclusion that the only way I'm ever going to reach my hours is going to be if I suck it up and start doing gaming streams, because apparently that's the only way you can get hours anymore. Everyone I know that does game streams hit their hours like super.
You're not monetized? Right? That's a crime.
No, I'm not even close. I hit my subs ages ago, but the hours I'm only like halfway up on my.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I hear that's common though.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what I said. Is I think that there are certain types of stream that tend to get hours really fast, and there are certain types that tend to get subs. And I think that, yeah, I think the only way that I'm ever going to hit my hours is if I take up doing gaming streams, which will be kind of a problem since I don't even have time to play video games like normally, much less start making regular streams about it.
I'm like you. I want to get back into streaming games. I got a PS5, a computer. I have a ton of games, and I have no time to play them.
I just play Oblivion in peace.
Yes, the remaster.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's so great.
Chat, if you enjoy this show or Time Loops in general, you should play Outer Wilds. It is the best game. You would love it.
I have it on my list.
Oh, my husband has started playing that. He likes it.
It is unironically my favorite game of all time. I think it is the best.
I can't remember the name of it. The PlayStation also had a game kind of similar where you would die and you start back over. It was around launch. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, PlayStation had a similar.
Also, Majora's Mask, also loopy.
True.
Hysterical that I don't think I have.
There's
Maybe
a-
I've played one game that was made in the last 10 years. Like all of the games I play are old.
have any of y'all seen the movie Boss Level?
Yes. Oh
I
God,
love
yes.
that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing movie.
All right. Well, Cinevere has other places she has to get to, and I'm sure everyone else does too. And I need to trundle off to bed because the clock comes early. So I want to thank everyone for being here, chat and panel. It was a spirited discussion, even if we didn't all agree. So good time.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I hope everyone has a great night and happy headbutting.
Bye.
Take care, people.